The quarterfinals at a conclusion, the semis are ready to begin here in the playoff proceedings here in Red Bull Giveaway Journey. Will roll on throughout the course of the day, and now we'll decide who will be our grand finalists. One team will stand a cut above the rest in terms of our top four, but there might still be some upsets in tow. Welcome back to the stream, welcome back to the semi-finals, and welcome bach to BetBoom versus Sashi, the match that we'll be covering here live on Red Bull Giveaway Journey. A matchup that certainly has a lot going for it on the BetBoom side of things, Dwayne.
Indeed it does, and we mentioned day one, which was a lot of best of one upsets. It's only continued in the best of threes. We've got a Sashi side that a lot of people would not have pinned to make a top four. AM Gaming J started this tournament as 219th on the VRS, and they're in the semi-finals. This has been an excellent day two to just see what kind of upsets can it do.
And excellent runs across the board for a lot of our, I guess you could say, underdog teams in some capacities. I certainly would have put AM Gaming as the more experienced side versus Ascend, even though Ascend had a very good group run. And for Sashi's side of things, obviously we saw them earlier on today. Beating out the Alliance camp is one thing that we wasn't expecting today. We certainly picked it towards being a three-map affair, ended it in 2-0. A lot of confidence for the Danes to carry forward into another top four run.
And it's a very different series to the one they played last night. Against BC Games, Sashi were being tested. It went to OT on map one. It went all rounds in regulation. You would kind of have expected that the quarterfinal matchup would have been a tougher one. You're going up against a team that I considered title fighters. And instead, it was just kind of cruisy in both the first half, the second half, map one, map two. Alliance just didn't give them a fight at all.
No, absolutely not. And that might give Sashi some momentum, but no, make no mistake, it's going to be a tough graft. Of the four teams we have in the semi-finals, there is one squad remaining that I would say at the start of the tournament were rated as one of our favourites. I had four teams that I sort of said, right, these are the teams that can make a title run or should be in a position to do so. Only one of them now remains, and that is BetBoom. BetBoom are my tournament favourites. Now they smashed Metasport out pretty handily, which was to be expected, to be fair. And as a result, I sort of see that they're looking at this bracket, of what remains of the bracket, and saying, it's closing time, lads. This is our time to get a LAN to make amends for what happened back at LAN.
Well, just to even look at how they performed against Metasport and how they went in the group stage, bro, they're averaging dropping less than 6 rounds a map. They are pumping teams. They got away with a 13-1, a 13-4, a 13-5, a 13-2, a 13-7. Teams aren't giving them fights, and if you're Boomich and you're the ex-tier 1 in-game leader, same for Artfrost, same for Siren, you're looking at it and thinking, we need to keep this up. We need to be coming into the mindset of every single series as not only are we the heavy favourites, but we're also the team that are just going to dispatch the weakest squads. We're going to look at everybody else and not even give them a chance.
And so far that has been the case, even in Group A, when they had some of those tough positions, including the likes of Sashi. I mean, no overtimes found by the BetBoom side at all. And so, like, you just think about that confidence, the 6-match win streak they're currently on, thanks to those group best of ones and the best of three from earlier on today. Again, they must feel like they're supremely confident in this matchup. They are looking into themselves as saying that we've been to the BTLs, we've been to the Blast, we've been to the Fissures, we've been at the highest ends of the scene at times, and over the course of this year as well, even the Major, they had an appearance out there. So for the BetBoom camp, they are looking at this context and looking at this bracket saying, this is our time to establish some more points, make amends for past failings, and set ourselves up for a great 2026.
And I think BetBoom just need to try and find their identity towards the end of the year, because they're not a tier 1 team, but they're not a tier 2 team, are they? They're in the middle, they're participating at tier 1 tournaments, and they're getting the odd win here or there, but they're never a threat. They're never going into the playoffs or challenging tier 1 teams frequently. Whereas even when they come to tier 2, they're normally always going for finals, or they're at least always going quite deep in the majority of comps. If they could legitimately get a LAN win under their belt against international teams, I think that would bridge the conversation further of trying to escape tier 2 and get closer to tier 1.
Yeah, I mean, BetBoom was sort of like an arguable tier 1.5 team with the way in which they play all these higher tier lands, but never quite able to contest any of them, and certainly being favourites in the majority as long as they play both online and offline, in the tier 2 space more specifically, right? And that sort of gives them, in my eyes, a little bit of a step up in terms of that position, but obviously not breaking truly into that tier 1 environment. When I think that BetBoom do want to be a team at the tier 1 environment, they've always been that team with second chances. A lot of the players have had stints in other bigger rosters in the past, and they've tried to come into this new team. Even in the formation back when Nafani was still leading the charge, the project was always about giving another opportunity to those players, and to get that opportunity to make it drive forward as far as possible is BetBoom's sort of overarching goal. And I think that a win here at GIBAWAY, here at Journey, is going to give them at least the groundwork to try to do that in 2026. But my concern is always thinking about how sometimes they don't always take the victories that they should do, particularly in the tier 2 space. Thinking about CCT on lines, for example, where they do go to the grand finals, they don't quite get the wins. And that has reflected in LAN as well. LAN to LAN, infamously, Paravision underdogs in that tournament came through to beat out BetBoom in a best of 5. BetBoom, as a result of that loss, got knocked out of major contention. They won't be in the major this time around. They won't be in Budapest, and I think that they're missing out on that. It was a huge setback for BetBoom, and it really coming down to one best of 5 loss.
And that's how the VRS landscape is when you're in that tier 1.5 discussion. We were seeing the race, even when Fnatic went out to North America, right? They had to win every single game to qualify to the major. We saw in that bridging period, there was a neck-and-neck race between about 5 or 6 different organizations. Now, for BetBoom, what's kept my eyes keen on the project the most is that a major failing has not forced roster changes. Think about how many squads just missed out on the major and thought, oh, sod this, man. Like, we need a new AWPer, we need a new captain, we need something else. They've kept at it. And since then, they've tried to make this a long-standing project. I mean, Siren's been here since the very beginning. I mean, they debuted at, what was it, IEM Sydney way back in sort of September of 2023. He's still here towards the end of 2025. Now, the one history bright spark, I guess, or maybe low light for both of these organizations is quite surprising. Both Sashi and BetBoom have only ever played in a LAN Grand Final once. Now, Sashi's been going since 2022, BetBoom's been going since 2023. You would have expected more LAN Grand Finals, even in the local scene for both of these orgs.
And that hasn't been the case. You're right to sort of take a mention to that, because for both teams, like, they have a chance to maintain a Grand Final here in Germany, but only one of them will be able to make it. So it is a very important match for the legacies of these two squads and for these two organizations as well. But just thinking about, again, the individual story arcs that each of those players involved, whether it be the rising squad of Sashi, some players that might not have had the opportunities, versus a team of players that have had missed opportunities and now are trying to make a gun back for a higher end position. Again, it's a very important matchup. It doesn't change the fact that BetBoom are still the heavy favorites when you consider the lineup that they have to face.
And we know that Sashi have struggled in semi-finals on LAN in the past. Now, they took on, what was it, 9 at Level Up Lund, took it to 3 maps, but wasn't able to press on there. They went to Glitch Masters. It was only a top 8 at Gamebox Festival, even getting knocked out in a local derby versus Tricked in the semi-finals. Couldn't even win a map in that one. And then even if I go back to the European Esports Championship, I know you spoke about it at the time, unranked national squads, they took on TNL, which is a full team, and they couldn't even win a map. So historically this year, Sashi have had some difficult best of 3s when it comes to the semis, and this is going to be a difficult one. You're a mid-pack tier 2 team with a stand-in versus BetBoom.
Especially when they're in their history against BetBoom, they've yet to win a map against them, both online and offline. Offline, we saw them face up against them on Nuke during the group stage, and that best of 1, a 13-9 win for the BetBoom side. So do Sashi want to try their hand at their best map in the pool in this best of 3?
Well, you expect a Mirage ban to come out from Sashi and an Inferno ban for BetBoom. The highest picked map in the pool for both teams is Nuke. So if it's not getting picked, it's getting floated as a decider. Now, if BetBoom don't pick Nuke, they've got Train, they've got Overpass as options. For the Sashi side, if they don't pick Nuke, mate, picking Overpass again. Like, look at how they performed against Alliance in that last best of 3.
Yeah, it was very proficient. Alliance didn't really have much of weight around them, so picking there from Sashi does seem to play a little bit of risk at the same time against BetBoom, who will go towards Train instead, as their secondary option is available. Train not exactly been the most reputable map for Sashi, on the contrary.
This is a position where both teams are going in deeper into the map pool than what you would normally expect. Now, I wonder, does Nuke even get floated? Because Nuke was unbelievably good for BetBoom in that last best of 3 versus Metasport. But it is a risk in a semi-final on LAN to be playing your #1 map for both teams. So it's basically up to both Sashi and BetBoom if they look at Nuke and say, are our chances better than the others? And yeah, Sashi, I mean, that's a rarity in itself. You'll almost never see Sashi banning Nuke, but I think it makes sense in this one context.
Well, I was going to ask the question whether they felt confident about returning the 13-9 against BetBoom in this best of 3, now only a day removed from their previous best of 1, but they don't want to do it. Entry taken out by BetBoom means that Mirage will be our decider map. How do you feel about that?
Oh, that's rubbish for Sashi. I mean, Mirage is normally their insta-ban, isn't it? They play it sometimes, but they don't enjoy playing Mirage. They'll play it on very few occasions, and we saw against BC Game, it was awkward. Even against BetClick, they were getting tested quite a bit on Mirage. So I think for BetBoom, this looks really good. Having Mirage as a decider is clearly an advantage in this BO3.
Now, once again, with the back end of the veto feels like the strongest element, although I will admit there is a risk going into that overpass. Even though BetBoom haven't quite played it all that much, you've still got a respectable win rate on it in this event as well. Beat out Metasport in a 13-11 environment on that one. Also took MIBR down in PGR Masters Bucharest. So their online performances, on LAN performances rather, they are rather impressive still from the BetBoom side, even if they are a little bit more limited in that respect. It does feel like to me there's a potential for a 2-0, but I do feel like, again, to give benefit to the doubt towards Sashi because they have been a lot more impressive than we expected out of this. I think the standing hasn't hindered them too much. A 2-1 victory for BetBoom feels like it's the most sort of likely outcome in my eyes.
Yeah, as much as I want to give Sashi the benefit of the doubt of taking map number 1, I just have to look at them in the comp and say, mate, they took on BC Game, that's not even a top-end Tier 2 team. They took on Alliance, who, yeah, it was underwhelming and definitely a good upset for the Danes. But you're now going up against BetBoom that play at the Tier 1 level. I mean, they know what it's like to compete against Tier 1 teams on land fairly frequently throughout 2025. It's a completely different level, right? You are moving very high up the pedigree now. And I think for that reason, it's going to be very difficult, not just for Smuya as the stand-in, but for the team overall. If they had Lucky in this context, maybe I'd have a little bit more faith. But having a stand-in in a game like this, it's not going to be easy for the Danes.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it was always going to be a hindrance for the Sashi side, but my thing is that they haven't really allowed that hindrance to really affect them over the course of the competition. I think you and I both sort of had them pegged to be in a bit of an awkward spot, potentially a battle for that third place within the group, perhaps. I mean, there was some question marks about how well they would be able to do in terms of keeping that confidence going. They obviously maintained a 4-1 record in Group A and obviously did well against both Alliance and BC Game going into the playoffs on the knockout stage. So, I mean, I don't think they've let that affect them too badly. It is still going to be a hindrance regardless. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, though. They've impressed me a lot more than I thought they would do, so I'm still going to give them overpass, but it's still going to be a serious victory for BetBoom. That's my prediction.
And Kabi, as an in-game leader, is going to have to try and deal with Dilladez, because he's currently the highest-rated player in the entire tournament. Now, he dropped 30 kills versus Metasport out there on Overpass, which was map 1. He then went on to Nuke and went 14-3. He has been carrying the likes of his team. He has been putting up ridiculous numbers in every single match in the tournament so far.
Plenty of potential around the individual, plenty for BetBoom to work on when they start things off in the semi-final matchups. USP's already brought in Villadez, and Kabi can deal with him more directly here. Straight kill on the Glock. First blood drawn out by Sashi. He's extending out to the second round of the backlines. Goose damage is going to get done. 7 HP. The room is dead to right. Eventually to the IGL. Follow up from Smuya also towards short. Siren's going to get picked up. Art Frost also tries to trade back, but now he's all alone in a 1 versus 4 clutch. 1 frag taken, 3 more remain, but no kit, no util for a retake.
Definitely confidence in Dilladez to swing monster that early and to take contact immediately. It's just that you're not getting anything. You get completely overwhelmed. Great work from the in-game leader to not only find that first, but to keep pressing, to keep getting up there towards Graffiti, cut down those rotations quickly. The CTs just couldn't even get in retaking spots before they were even getting caught. So Sashi get themselves a very good pistol round win.
Excellent start for the Danes once again. They need to go on here, and if there's a loss here, is there anything to go off of, then if they begin like this, this could still end up being a very good time for the Sashi squad. BetBoom will let decide to force into the second. No Kevlar coming out. But nothing major from them. Harsher eco for the CT side. They want to take things a little bit more cleanly and get the rifles early.
What are the difference between these two squads is because of the seeding of how they went down in the group stage. BetBoom didn't have to play in that best of 3 last night, so they had the evening off. They can relax, do some prep moving into the round of 8 and onwards. For Sashi, I wonder if it's come to their advantage, getting that 2-0 last night win versus Nexa & Co., getting another 2-0 versus Twist & Co. just earlier. You feel like you're powering up for the more important games, don't you? You're developing and showing more depth as the tournament rolls on.
I believe you mentioned it yesterday, that balance of having the time off to prepare versus coming into today early and feeling warmed up. Now Sashi were on fire in their match. That opening start, at the very least, we'll get to find out how warm they are as the matchup goes on. BetBoom should not be expected to win round 2. Only real potential would be on Art Frost with that Kevlar, but even that is very minimal. Again, their priority focus is the rifles in round 3.
Mistar with the mid-site smoke, and they're not accelerating into B just yet. They've still got themselves a lot of time. Managers has been seen on the drop down. USP in the smoke won't get anything.
Punch throws off the Deagle. Interesting. Nope, found by Becky. Nice little cash bonus if he got that kill, but regardless. Unico's like this, I don't mind it too much. Early doors, still plenty of time to change their tunes to and over Sashi start. BetBoom up to the rifles. So with Art Frost or Dilladez can get any sort of exit frags here. The first 7 in particular put a tiny amount of expense down on the Sashi side. They don't want to let all 5 players get alive. But they should do so. Mistar has found his man.
And And if we're going to look at BC Game as the Falcons of Tier 2, then surely we have to look at BetBoom in a similar conversation. When the lineup started, they bought out Nafany, they bought out Siren from Spirit, and then what, even recently this year, they bought out Boomich and the likes of Axile from Cloud9. I mean, that's a lot of money being spent to get ex-Tier 1 players. And yeah, you've got a decent, I would say, foundation with the Tier 2 names. You've got Magnajez, who we saw on K23. You've got Dilladez that we saw on 9 Pandas. But they've also spent a lot of cash, and they've not been able to get much in return. They didn't qualify to the Major. They've not been able to win a LAN in the history of the org. So this is the one to kind of pay back BetBoom and say, do you know what? All of these transfers that you've made recently, it's only benefited us.
I mean, yeah, it is true. It's a good point you make. I think the one difference between BetBoom and BC Games and BetBoom are looking at gun towards those high opportunities. They are looking to prioritise things like PGL and Fissure and you know, the IEMs whenever they get the chance to play in those kind of events. BC Game not even getting a look at those kind of opportunities. You do make a fair assessment. BetBoom still looked as the favourites in this series, in this competition, of the 4 teams that do remain. So best not to let those expectations crush you under their weight. Orb on Art Frost, part of the rifle buy. Magno set in the corner of long. The Orpa was watching initially. Middle of the shadow scene. Magno easy killed. The bomb carrier does not continue the fight.
It just knows for Smooya, it's too much of a risk to go for that refrag. As much as I want that duel, if I drop the bomb, the rounds is just over completely. Now, Becky is fading the smoke out here in Divider, but it's difficult because the B lurk has not been able to activate. Mistar is going to strike now, but he needs to get Dilladez or at least force a rotation.
Place one of the M4, smokes off the ramp angle. Mistar's going to put a HE, or looking to put a HE down towards water. Instantly, BetBoom start pushing on mid. They recognise that they've abandoned all sorts of mid controls, and they might looking towards connector where you've got Becky standing in attention. Good kill on towards one Siren, and Dilladez get 2 back on the BetBoom defensive, more directly towards the bomb site. Bomb is recovered at least. Smooya goes down. Becky is left alone in the round. 1v4. Impressive stuff from him in that last series. But this is a bridge too far, it looks like.
He looked comfortable on the T side, and I think that's probably where he was at his best on Overpass, was just working the bathrooms and banana, always making it awkward for the A players, whether they were out there at truck or jump spotting from Dice. He kept getting picks off and forcing rotations heavily to A. Ends up saving in this case. BetBoom had a pretty good read on that scenario. Even when there was a lurk out from Monster, they don't fight the lurk straight away, do they? They kind of give Mistar that respect. They smoke on the edge of the pillar. They play down in the water. They wait for the bridge peak. That was comfortable. Well done from BetBoom.
Indeed it was. Excellent stuff. And the focus on the rifle rounds paying off in the early dividends. The rifles are returned from Sashi though. One was saved. 4 are bought, 3 of which are AKs, 1 of which is a Khalil. 2 AK saves on the BetBoom side as well, so they're going to start building up their T side. Marcel Magno's the weakened element. The Orb of Art Frost revealed early, taking a quick pop shot down towards mid. But they're going to have a late shot smooth.
Not seen Art Frost work connector or out to beam. He's been eccentric for the last couple of rounds. Cabby and Zyphon just working in from the bathrooms. They've cleared up all of connector control. And the AWP has just positioned himself to hold out long solo. He can have a teammate at Magnajez, they can keep trading places, work around the APC out there at Dice. And they've got to read, because they've taken short access, because they've got a player up towards the sandbag, they can afford to keep 3 players on A on a stack.
Zyphon's going to boost up the challenge to A on site, AWP. Flash off, gets out of dodge, held in the cubby corner. The man using his flash persistence, and he will be able to get it. Zyphon blinded, headshot gained through the wallbang of the signpost. Advantage for Devlin now. Smooya's going to be able to return back fire towards that one pick though. The side basis, Siren's counter flank pushes on towards short. His man down at Monster. Dilladez on site, holds Becky. And the bomb carrier, if Cabby wants to rethink his options, him and Smooya separated, siphoned off, and now going to be cut off by BetBoom. Boomich in particular over at Divider. Low HP for the Brit. No real chance of Sashi. I think Cabby is going to go back and save his gun, and the Smooya is going to get shot in the back of the head.
Now, one key aspect to always keep an eye out for, Jay, when we're talking about high-end teams, teams that play good Counter-Strike, It's not the sharpness, it's not the ability of the individual form, it's the pressure points. Now, right there from BetBoom, they are just choking the pressure towards long, aren't they? The Artfrost has got a good pick, they're dropping util, and then Siren's just going on a search. He's cleared out all the short water, he's got in behind Monster, he's hearing the rotation back down from Con, and they're just playing off of each other. Where do you go if you're Sashi? Do you go B? Do you go A? There's just players all over the place. This is giving you a very confident in-game leading style of Boom, which is that he's not afraid to be on the front foot and constantly search for that info.
Now BetBoom face the eco of Sashi. Should be a freebie round once again for the CT side. One that will get them into the lead on this overpass, and just thinking consider the threat of what BetBoom could do on this kind of a map up. Not only do they still play at a fair amount, but they also do play at a higher level compared to Sashi. On LAN in the past, including that best of 5 against that Paravision side. It's effective from the defensive line as a result. 3 kills, dropped. Round is over.
Sashi getting the eco going, as most would have expected without a single kill. Now over on the other stream, we've got the semi-final between Eyeballers and AM, and who would have thought that Altex, who got kicked from Sashi earlier on the year, would join up on AM, and they're also in a semi-final position. And then the other one to compare the pair, GXX going further in the tournament than his old teammate of Rigon. It has really been a surprise out here in Sweden.
Indeed it has, and on a team of AM that, again, you don't really put too highly by comparison to the rest of the field of competition here in Giveaway.
Well, I think they were the second lowest VRS ranked team, not including the unranked squads. I mean, that's telling you something.
Not amazing, most certainly. Sashi, no, swings up, gets killed off by Zyphon, AK involved. Advantage for Sashi this time. BetBoom trying to involve themselves early into that mid-fight. Not quite as much pace from the Danes. Nice, open for a moment, but it's been covered off by Artfrost.
Artfrost is blocked in a good timing, because if they excel, they're going to have to go through this smoke. And for the NWP and the rifler, this could be damage.
Sees them through that smoke, only getting one pick out of it. Artfrost with a second, turns back towards Long. A wonderful shot on Mistar as well. Diladez also chimes in with extra support of the rotations. The backstab of Siren, going to watch out for Cabby, catch him completely flat-footed, and take a fall for BetBoom.
It's very gimmicky to try and go through that smoke, and I think they realise why. That was an excellent display. Even though Boomich whiffs, it's still 1 kill. That's all that's needed in that round. You set up the AWP, and for Artfrost, he's hitting hard. Now, over day 1 and day 2, I don't think we've seen the best of AWPing performances on the mainstream, have we? We've seen average AWPing, odd pick here or there, but we've not seen what I would call highlight AWPing, taking over a game. Now, that last round was proper decent from Artfrost, and I wonder if he's going to continue that in the gun-v-gun rounds.
Set BetBoom on for this. Another eco set of pistols from Sashi. Max, that's bonus being effective in the next round. Sprays of Boomage coming blinding as Mistar's taking him out towards short pipe, instantly starting off the BetBoom side. The read's perfect. The predictions of defaults set and ready. AK now for Siren trying to get his piece of the pie, and gets caught by Smooth's Deagle, so a return is possible and indeed comes together for Sashi.
Still getting quite a lot of movement from these B players. They're not making it easy for the eco individuals. Constant util going down under the boost. Another resmoke down to Deep Monster. And for Cabby, we've seen previously they've gone for heroes in these lighter investment rounds. He had, what was it, the AK out in Con, didn't really do anything. This time they don't want to use that extra expense. I mean, Smooyer, as an example, is almost up at 3 grand. He wants to prioritize the big green. Don't waste the money in a round that you might not be able to do too much damage in.
Now, Sashi conservative on the economy game. A decent kill back on towards the second player as well with Boomage to support. Supporting Boomage credited with the kill. Cabby and Smooya, last 2 players that do remain. Smooya no. Cabby's Deagle doesn't strike back. Smooya will fall. The formality round indeed for the BetBoom camp. 3 to the good on their lead. That extend it to a 5th. Gabby's looking for an exit frag. Not going to happen for him. 4 players worth of investment held over. Plenty of cash now built up by the BetBoom side. The loss bonus compounds for Sashi. They will be up for the bye.
You start pondering, when are we going to see a threat? When are we going to start getting BetBoom challenged? Because we spoke about it at the start of the broadcast. They're just pumping teams. Whereas for Sashi, they've had what, 2 overtimes, and they had a 13-11 versus BC game. They've had to work for the results. They haven't come freely, and that's the difference of comparing the two. You look at a 5-2 scoreline, and you just think about Boomich's confidence right now.
Leading the charge, running off Artfrost's here. Just being spotted by Mistar. Peeks in when the HE came out to open up the doorway and see players through the smoke. Opening kill for Sashi this time. All recovered by Boomich. What can he do with it though? Mistar starting to walk forward over at short water angle. On at long, 3 players to make their moves. Magno takes the directive fight and loses it. Siren has caught that trade. But now all left on Boomich to defend the A-bomb site. Orb scoped him. And long flick overcooked, and he's sent flying out of there. 4v2 now for Sashi. A site completely in their control. BetBoom are locked out of this.
Becky's in a strong position to cut the rotations out towards top con. Even if he goes 1 for 1, the round is completely over. CTs have got a lot of money, so they'll just send themselves in. And Dilladez is just hoping for that last little bit of impact against Becky. Do you know what's so funny about that round, yeah? Is first off, it's very unorthodox that an AWP is on a boost. I mean, you never see that. But because they boosted Smooya out there on Deep Monster, that's why Mistar was so late to going into short pipe. So if you're Artfrost, you're thinking, why is he coming so late there? Why is it taking him so long to come into short water?
Timing things better for the man instead. Delicious double hop. He does get shot in the back by said Brick, the man of the moment. Breaking the streak of BetBoom. It was a solid 5 in a row. Don't need bomb plants in said vibe either for Sashi's part of things. So yeah, good confidence in the CT board. Finally put to paid. But again, cash is pretty well built up across their line, so they should be buying back here.
BetBoom are in a position where now they might try and go aggro park, take a little bit more map control towards the playground in at party. They've been very defensive towards A. They haven't had a lot of movement on that side of the map.
Trying to take a peek up on BetBoom in towards that mid position, look down over at T-Con, but no angles present. Smokes and flashes are in the way. They get behind their own smokes. Fade away from that position, maybe re-attack from long. Meanwhile, Mistar playing away from the Molotovs posted up towards short access. Double swing from Tree and Rock. They're going to defend the long access, but how long will they stick around for it? This actually can make their way in towards mid, almost completely uncontested.
This is a really good setup from BetBoom, because the AWP can just block. The AWP can just jump spot and make sure that he denies map control towards the front side of the bathrooms and the banana. And then eventually the long players are going to activate. Eventually they'll start moving forward and clearing map control. You just don't want to go too early, do you? Because if you do, that's when you get caught off guard and you give away an easy kill.
And you see Cabby was watching from the fountain, expecting there to be some sort of long presence. And now he'll start to take moves. He will go down for it. Magno Jez with that kill. Boom is going to have to watch the adjustment to his bathroom's entrance. Orb of Artfrost goes down to Smooya in the meantime. He tries to search for a pick, instead loses his life. Zyphin that challenges the one man at Rock. Does take him. Boomich is going to go for a big old bait play though. 2 to find. None to drop. Bomb also on the back of the AWP as well. This is massive from the captain. When you pull the trigger, right now that they've lined up for him, all important stuff. That changes the complexion of the round. 22 seconds to get back, grab that bomb, get that train and put it on the bomb site. And AK inbound, M4 watching in the open, takes a triple. And old Becky can pick up the AWP and apply it to Siren. He hasn't got time for the rest of the round, he knows it. So does BetBoom, so does Boomich. Take his fight back, play out towards the truck, take his chance to strike at the right moment and claim 6 for the CT side.
Well, I'll tell you right now, this series is not going to be competitive. That you might get the odd round here or there from Sashi, but BetBoom are just so clearly far and away the stronger team. Even in that round, that's such a heavy bait. Now, Magnajez is probably fuming because you have just been left solo long when you've got yourself a duo setup, but it works perfectly because if you're the T side, if there's no second player there, why would you even check it? It's just ludicrous that Boomich even gets himself in that position, but the trigger discipline is everything. And for Sashi, they may have had a positive start, but they are going to struggle to get rounds on this T side.
As the saying goes, best skill in chess is knowing when to sacrifice your queen. And that is how that round played out. One man's death led to the entire round coming together for BetBoom. Boomic had the grand plan in mind. He knew what to do. He knew how to play it. Experience from that individual, the captain of the team.
Well, I'm surprised that we're not seeing more monster lurks. When we were casting Sashi versus Alliance, there were so many rounds where Mistar was just walking out monster, wasn't it? They were catching Twist, that was the anchor, and that felt like a good pressure point. I don't know if they're maybe adapting their T side more because they're playing Boomic. That might be something that, that the coach is trying to talk about from Hunden, but I'd like to see more extensions on lurk timings on B, because we haven't seen much of it at all here.
Tactical was taken in by Sashi here. They're clearly not happy with how things have gone. Hunden certainly isn't. Pistol conversion with only 2 rounds. They won the first part of the match, 1 round to break the streak as well, with instantly responded to by BetBoom. To highlight why you think it's not going to be competitive at this stage, I can't really disagree. Sashi hoping that that overpass was more of their skill than it was of Alliance's failures. And we're finding out that it actually might have been the latter. Sashi lacking in the funds and therefore lacking in the weapon setups. The Galils on 2 players, 2 AKs plus a MAC-10. Initial long contact, the man gets nothing. Artfrost watching out from mid, gets caught by Xiphon, so doing well to mark that one individual. Everybody else is concerned though. They get the second kill though, they should get the bomb site. That's a lot more proficient here from Sashi. Keep it simple and get it.
It's a very intriguing call from both the in-game leader and the coach, because there's no util being used. Normally when you try and take A, you molly off the divider, you smoke off the front side of the bathrooms, you take it slowly, you then get yourself a bank molly down, or bank smoke you should say, or a dumpster smoke. The truck molly flashes, they just contact up the whole way, and Artfrost isn't sleeping, he's just jump spotting. And he's expecting a little bit more of a contact with util. And the CTs are going to try a late little ninja on this, and Xiphon has got many teammates around him, so there's not going to be much threat in the round itself. Boomic is definitely gone for. That was a good round from Sashi, that was well done.
Indeed. A bit more like what we saw from that last best of 3 in that overpass.
Yeah, just thinking about the tack too, maybe they recognize that bathrooms is an area that they can control a little bit more. Because from Artfrost, while he's throwing util towards party, he's never staying in bathrooms, is he? He's never holding divider, he's always falling defensively back to A. So that might have been something that Hunden picked up on.
Definitely not have the best of maps. Highest on the board alongside Magno Jez at 4 frags and 5 respectively. Smooth has just taken Magno instantly out of connector. Xiphon's walking his way up to the B bomb side. The pace, 2 lined up, 2 go down. Transfer's not quite there, but there's plenty more players to take down. There's a 4 versus 2, making it 1. Sashi took only 30 seconds to win this round.
It tells you how unique and how important that tactical timeout was to use it right then and now start following up rounds. Now, I've been talking quite heavily about Dilladez at the start of the game. Unbelievable stats, great numbers. He's a B anchor on overpass, so he's not going to be involved in many fights at all. We're going to see a lot more access towards short water, a lot more from the A players. That round there, you can't even blame him, because first off, they've lost an opening pick and con straight away, and then there's a lineup against these other 2 B players. So you are completely alone to defend Monster and Short by yourself. It's not going to happen. You might be able to get 1, possibly 2 before falling, but you're never going to be able to win the round. Now, Artfrost is doing everything in his power to hold on to the big green, and it looks likely that he'll be able to do so.
Well, you say that, they're probably going to block. I'm not 100% certain about that.
He'll be alright.
Close for Becky. Okay. Plenty of time for Becky to get that kill. That no-scope missed, and Artfrost would have gone down. They didn't, so he's all good for round 12, and Ort will be in for the BetBoom side. The rest of the rifles won't come in so easily, though. For Mars out for Magno, Boomic going upgrade pistol. M4 for Dilladez, so very broken way for them to close out their CT side.
Just thought for a moment that Artfrost might try and bring that AWP towards B. Look for an early pick, short water or something out there to Monster, but not to be. Smooya worked that opening kill within the first, what, 10, 15 seconds of the last round, and he's going to try and do the exact same thing again.
Good nades on from the CT upstairs. HE's landed towards 2 of Smooya and Zyphon. Con takes a fight, wins it. Magno down in an instant. One of those all-important rifles taken out of the picture early. Pistol players, he's still does on the boost instead. Smooya goes falling in trap. Becky and Zyphon tagged up, still works his way up long. Take down up frost, and that's the A site already taken. The bomb can make its way out of Monster as Boomich tries to surge forward and grab a rifle. 3-on-3 established, but Connector being locked off by Becky. How long does he sit in this corner? Does he get checked all the way as well? He does, and he's about to pull a Boomich, only gets the one frag.
And now the bomb is scared. Does Cabby rotate all the way up? Does he try and go back to B? You know that they're in connector. It is all timing. And he has to try and get some distraction from his teammate Zyphon to help him out.
Looking back on that B-bomb site, into the back line. Siren about to walk in. At an advantage, still loses the fight. Info on the one man. Now Cabby stands alone. 30 seconds. But where does he predict BetBoom's movements? Do they think they're going to go back out towards the B-bomb site? Running up towards connector. And so is Dilladez running his way forward towards the dumpster angle. The Molotov will just beat him there, or force him back into bank, getting a dice plant for Cabby. It's going to go open instead. That's a bit risky. Chance available for the swing and for the denial. The BetBoom will make it 7-5 CT half.
And Sashi, overall, will be pretty happy with that first half. There was a few chances that didn't quite get taken, but they get 5 T rounds in the end. Now, I know that not many of them were gun rounds. We'll definitely look at that from the perspective of BetBoom as being the superior team, but you expect that on a CT side. I think now moving forward into the second half, while there's going to be a steeper challenge ahead of the Danes, they have put themselves in a good position in this semi-final.
Move over to the defensive side of their own map pick on the back foot for Sashi. Pistols been known to turn it around. Remember, they took a 4-8 deficit in the last map that they played. Still turn it into a map and series win over Alliance. 7-5. Therefore, not an impossible regard for them. Pistols are live. And BetBoom taking the careful approach to the round.
The CTs have already started searching quite heavily. Cabby's playing an off angle to the top of Con. You've got a second player in the bathrooms, and then the third individual just on the outskirts towards Divider. So you've got a triangle. Boomich has spotted the first guy, but has not seen the other two.
Cabby trying to watch. He comes out, Cabby engages, does go like first blood with Typhon's assistant. Siren does get the 2 trades back, though BetBoom in control of mid-access, and now one player charging up long will look to try and join them on a split play. Dilladez continues fragging. Smooya goes down, Mistar is all alone. Second player on the way back into this 2 versus 4 was seen by Long. Presence coming in from mid, shot down by Artfrost. One pick for Becky as far as he can go, and a pistol win is locked in by BetBoom.
Well, the patience pays off for BetBoom to run the clock. Now, we can't know exactly what happened in that setup, except look at the reposition and say, what's going on there with Smooya? He's retreating towards the A-bomb site when his other 2 teammates are trying to fight Top Con and out there in the bathrooms. Perhaps it was Cabby telling him to fall back to try and draw them in. Whatever the situation was, it capitulated quickly. The T's just overwhelmed that space and just kept running up to A.
Simple enough round for BetBoom. 1-for-1 in pistols now in this map. Sashi's the first one. BetBoom take the second, and now look for the break round. There's a Sashi force buy though. Still losing the first of Mistar. Zyphon's jump face not going to work out for him. Becky does at least trade one back, but now he's on half HP alongside his teammate. But that's enough to cancel BetBoom. Back in towards connector and up towards the A-bomb site. Smooya's scout, ready for a shot. Doesn't connect the kill for it. Goes down. A has been taken.
It's a really good cancel coming through from BetBoom. They see the boost and they know there's a player defending Monster. 1A max. Start excelling elsewhere. And for Cabby, he's trying to deny the bomb.
All going his back up desperately. He'll try fight on Magno, and Magno gets the kill. Artfrost from range as well on Zyphon. And Becky with no chance, knows he's going to have to fall back. You know that the round is over. 9 on the board of BetBoom now, closing in on the ending stages.
And those are the moments where BetBoom show their quality versus the other Tier 2 squads. Dilladez had almost committed, hadn't he? He was past the short sandbags. That's quite deep going into the bomb side. A lot of teams would have looked at that and said, look, we've already taken this space. We're already committed. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep fragging, keep trading. You commit there, it could just be disaster. You could get swamped on the crossfire of the boosting players. Becky that's with the MP9 out at the monster. And that's one of the advantages that any squad has of playing at a higher level. Even if BetBoom aren't successful at the Tier 1 landscape, when you're playing in best of threes, teams like Astralis and Gamer Legion and Heroic, it gives you really good fundamentals, doesn't it? It tells you exactly how to play, how to conduct yourself on the server, so then when you do go down against the weaker squads in Tier 2, you can use that experience of playing at the higher end and basically crush them.
Four-round lead now for BetBoom, extending upon their excellent CT half. Again, forced by from Sashi, tried to get the streak dead, tried to kill it before it could really fester. Now they get themselves even more problems. Becky's Galil. He's over from a T-side player in the previous round. Now with pistols around it, all he can do is hope that he can steal a frag or two away, as could Smooya. The Kevlar with the upgrade pistol on his part. But nothing that you expect to do on Sashi's side. BetBoom still in the driver's seat for this round, should remain that way. Should take it 10-5. Shenanigans are the only things that will push Sashi away back.
Smooya is being forced away of fighting these A players. That molly into Con is keeping him sandwiched for a moment. Cabby out at long, doesn't have a teammate in sight. They're rotating up to A, but a little bit too late to establish any kind of cross.
Shot against Cabby takes him down. And the boost for Becky will watch over the signpost. Expecting mid-aggression, and he's not quite correct about it. Accessing Con for Smooya. Start to realise that nobody's down here. It's the long access that we have to be worried about for the Sashi side. Becky starts hearing footsteps. Smoke down quickly, block that access path there. Push forward anyway. Mac 10 sprays awkward, and they do get one kill out of this second of Becky as well. And beyond that smoke, the blind fire can come in and shout some damage. HT to reveal where they're at. They get Becky. The damage is already compounded. Mistar all alone. Where's the rifle? Can't find it. Not in the midst of all this smoke. The bomb's going to make its way back out towards this B-bomb site. And they've got time for this here. Sashi are left out of this one. BetBoom should just about plant the bomb.
Yeah, they'll be all right. That was a shame, because that was a good little setup, wasn't it? You have the boosted player out there on the signpost, and for a moment, you think the BetBoom are just going to keep running in one by one, and then that's when you just slaughter everything. Not only do you save weapons, but you end up winning the round. Mistar can save onto Galil, and for Dilladez, he's stat padding a little bit. A lot of kills against anti-ecos, not many round-defining moments. But for him as an individual, he's got to be very hungry, because not only would you have been very disappointed to not have qualified for the major, like you mentioned, losing to Paravision in that recent grand final on LAN, but he was also a part of that lineup with Seized and IDB of 9 Pandas that qualified to the major last year and couldn't go. So you've now had, well, basically 2 chances, one of which should have been you at the major. The second one probably should have been you again, and both times it hasn't happened. So that hunger to be able to get BetBoom on the map, get them in the running for the major next year, and get them closer to the Tier 1 aspect is what they are trying to do as an organization, and bringing someone like him in.
And the difference between those two incidents is the fact that actually 9 Pandas took first in their RMR Decider, so they objectively made it through. There was no question marks about it. BetBoom were locked in until the very last moment, the very last couple, like week or two of the VRS invites. You are right. 2 chances where it should have been him. It wasn't him. BetBoom try and make amends for that. Missed HGs, will still connect the second read this time, particular attack to 37. As even despite those failings, they are in the driver's seat for this matchup. Becky is going to find the first frag of this round, though. Siren is first to fall.
It's just annoying and tilting when we've seen it twice this day, where nade stacks should have warranted kills, and instead one piece of missed util is just instead cost heavy damage, but not an overall casualty. Now Zyphon is aggressive, flashed out here, even with a man advantage. That was risky to fight against Boomage. Now he just has to keep fighting. He's got no safety.
There's down 2 left standing on the BetBoom side. Magnajez with 1 decent trade. They recovered to the AWPer. Smooya missed shot, gives Artfrost a way back in. Bomb's going to get recovered, and the long access now coming in for Magnajez. Artfrost has made the most noise. He's on 100 HP as well. Might have to do the rest of the heavy lifting. Double up secured. Triple comes in difficult. Magnajez can trade out the last man. It's a 1v1 against Mr. Bomb to get recovered, but where is he coming from? No info to the last player at BetBoom, who's going to try. Could be perfectly timed, and he gets the headshot for it, clutching at 6 points of health to the good, and 11 on the BetBoom boards.
And unfortunately for Owen there, Asmuya, he is frustrated himself. That's a sitter of a kill. Yes, you're out in the open, and you have no cover, but you can't afford to be missing shots like that against a strong team like BetBoom. As soon as he whiffs, it's instant capitalization, isn't it? I mean, that's a 4v2 round. There's so much going for Sashi, and Hunden can only look at that and just say, lads, we've just bottled it. Like, I know that we were already down 5-10, but that's an unlosable round. That's a situation where if you crossfire strong, you have good protocols in place, you just can't lose. And instead, you've thrown away basically your only chance of survival on your map pick.
Yeah, massive whiff from Smoothie. Reduces impact rating quite an amount because that is perfectly setting up Art Frost to surge ahead. They're both on the same amount of frags per player. Just compare the two between that round. The AWP doing nothing. The AK in the hands of Art Frost getting a triple out. Setting up the round to even be possible for BetBoom. Falling in double tax on their own part of things. Chance for Railway to talk to them, just get them lined up for the next 2 rounds. That will be the last 2 rounds if BetBoom get their way.
And I want to say, Jay, in a way, I almost want BetBoom to have a 13-11, 13-10 kind of game, just to see what the team can perform when pressure is against them. Because they're just smashing everyone in the comm. So what happens when you do get to the grand final, and it's maybe a neck-and-neck game? I don't know. I don't have any previous experience to draw from.
Or equally so, Dwayne, they come to the opposition to post up that resistance, and so far nobody has. Not even Sashi. Even they lost single digits in their best of 1 against BetBoom in the group stage, and here in the playoffs as well, this map. And they picked into overpass, hoping that they could find an alternative to the nuke. It worked well against the Lions, it has not worked all that same against BetBoom. 6 rounds to the good for the Russian team. Looking for an 8-round lead to close out the opening map. Sashi with this buy state. Probably I have their last chance to maintain this map with this round. If they can't get it, it should be game over.
A lot of searching of information, but it's a deep player of Siren out here on Monstone. This AK can still do damage.
Thing down to 17. Not so much. Out of the way. Holding himself up towards Club and will get picked up by Mr. The frag to claim advantage for Sashi. BetBoom continue playing so elsewhere, particularly in con and mid, but they haven't got much mid presence on Sashi to contest it. Make a little bit of noise in connector. But it seems like A is going to be the final end. The boost up from Smoothie is going to catch a player this time. There's down.
They're definitely not playing nervous or scared at all. They're happy to make risks, to be on the front foot, take space away. And that's a good sign for Sashi. And out here towards long. 1v1 duel goes well. Let's see if they can recover another massive man disadvantage.
13 HP for Magno, though, so it doesn't quite go as cleanly as he wanted it to, and it might again leave Art Frost and Boomer to do the most of the damage now. AK's on flash forward towards mid. Art Frost stunning shot to shut down Smoothie. It's now the 3 men on Sashi. Still got 2 on the back of the onside. Third man starts rotation soon enough. As Boomer gets caught, quick in from Art Frost, takes the man down. Cabby's blinded. He doesn't get checked in this corner. 6 seconds. He's got the bomb carrier, and that's all he needs. Magno can't even win the fight. Sashi, all important round win.
Well, the X Factor is exciting to watch from BetBoom. That round was finished, wasn't it? 3v5, not much time left on the clock. You're thinking, there might be a couple of kills, but not much. And then it just starts becoming winnable. And that's the scariest factor, is that individually, they look just so scary. They're hitting ridiculous shots, and that's only going to continue moving into train. Sashi don't even get themselves a good buy. I mean, that's what that extension has actually done to the economy. Those last few casualties means that Becky, one of your anchors, is going to be down onto an MP9 rather than an M4.
Dinadez. Man out towards T-Con, was watching with his AK in mind. Tech 9's pulled out by Boomich. Broken buys are still there for BetBoom. Sashi took a number of casualties as well. So opportunities which might give Sashi a lifeline in this matchup. For BetBoom, it could be the final nail in the coffin of the Danes on Overpass. A reminder for those of you at home, Overpass was picked by Sashi. They wanted to play this map. And so far, so little has been gained out of it. Minute on the clock for round 18.
Artfrost is just waiting for this B anchor to give him something, even a jiggle. Right now, nothing's being offered. What a shot that is against Mistar, though.
Bloody hell. Okay, fair play, Artfrost. Zyphon does trade it back though out towards long. They've dropped Dinadez, who now against the rifles is not having quite as clean a game as he was looking like initially. You mentioned the stat padding, now the impact starting to dwindle out of him. Need those rifles to step up around Artfrost in his opening pick. He can't take the start on his own. Flashes are starting to get sent. Siren with Galil out, smokes down towards the right-hand side of the pillar. Boosting up. Cabby takes one. Spray tries to combine with blindness, but Siren trades back in the open. Double up on Smoothie as well. Triple secured. But the Tech 9 of Boomich and Zyphon is all that remains. 1v3. BetBoom looking for 12. Looking for map points. And maybe looking to end this one for once and for all on Sashi's part. 6 rounds to make up 6 map points for BetBoom.
I hate that setup in for Cabby. He just full baits Becky. I know that he warrants a kill on the boost up, but then where's Becky's help? As soon as Cabby gets off of that boost, him and Smoothie, they're not in a position to refrag, are they? They can't swing out wide. They can't help on any sort of crossfire. They needed to be in there at the bomb site. Whether you be in graffiti, down at water, even under heaven, they've got to play that differently. I feel for Becky there. He's just been left to die.
Top fragger for his side as well, pressing over in the last best of 3. Now here is BetBoom. Left out to dry more times than he might be comfortable with. T side. Looking to surge ahead. Already caught damage onto Mistar and Becky. Very little done in return. Sashi staring down the barrel of the end of this map and a loss for their pick in the series.
Very patient from BetBoom on an all-important round. Not trying to take map control too quickly. The Siren got dinked long range, so he's down to 56 outside of Monster. Dilladez and Co are taking long space, while Siren's just pulling some distraction out on B. You've got your underpass lurk that's also not catching anything. No one on A directly. You've got Zyphon and Cabby that have got a bathroom set up instead.
Boomich walks it into the bathroom, so back towards mid. AK firing away over there at the connector angle, so we're going to be able to deal with one player on rotation, grab that AK and send it back to the top com players. Meanwhile, Boomich starts charging inside the bathroom to catch one player off. Zyphon goes down, Cabby's pass. Australia places with the T-side players doubling up with the kill on Artfrost. Boomich got in the way of that. Dinadez in the meantime going to try and back up his teammate, but unawares of how close the CTs really are. SMG involved, and the AWP of Cabby can lock out Boomich. That keeps them alive for now. 1 out of 6 on the comeback.
Just enough distraction. That was a bit of a gimmicky round. You've got players swinging all sorts. Cabby's on the front side of the bathrooms. Zyphon's a little bit further back, and a lot of time stalling, which buys rotation room for those B players to get up there to bank and out towards dumpster. A tactical time out comes through from BetBoom. Money's not ideal, so probably treat this as a light buy. They're not quite double eco. I mean, Magnajez is, but everybody else isn't. So they might look at this as just keeping it as a full-on Glock round and then just focusing on the rifle in the next.
I think there's a last tactical pause as well that BetBoom have available. He was 2 back-to-back earlier on. I'll make this one fly all the way to the finish line. Just around the corner for them, 5 chances to close. Any one round could be enough. Actually going to force buy here. BetBoom not going to go for the low Glock round. Have faith in their scout, in their AK. Frost has been pretty good today, but not right on the AWPs of the scouts so far. It's mostly been the AK performances that have stood out on impact. Boomich head towards mid, caught by the AWP Spurrier. Jump face on his lonesome. That's a hell of a waste of an AK-47.
And Dilladez is waiting for the jump spot to come out from B, but that's not occurring at all. Now, we haven't seen many monster lurks or even short lurks previously from BetBoom. And out here towards Party, Zyphon looked as if that was a free kill.
It's done a second AK getting out of the way of BetBoom if they can get a second play. How they pick it up. Dez is actually focusing on the kill more directly on the boost. Found the head, but didn't find the shot. Mistyle's alive, unscathed, as the rest of the CT side players are. That doesn't remain alive. Everyone's untagged right now on server. BetBoom forming up to the monster hit.
Now the pistol needs to be the bait here from Diladez. The AK from Siren, that's going to be the damage dealer if anything.
On Siren, flashbang and scene, still finds a kill for it. Second one comes up. Becky can't knock him out just yet. Needs back up here. Mr. bearing down with the right hand side. Does find a back turn, but it's Cabby instead. Diladez at the forward. Mr. finally finds his headshot. Not Frost alone. Scout shot not connecting. AK does get picked up. They give him a little bit too much time there. And Mr.'s USP does put him down. They shut out the force by no bomb plant bonus for BetBoom. However, this now has to be a much harsher eco.
And that's a superb hold from the B anchor of Becky because he gets a kill, he ducks himself down, he's not really committing to the fight, and then eventually just plays time, doesn't he? Just hides completely. He knows that he's got support on the crossfire. If Becky would have kept fighting and they potentially kill him, then that opens up a threat on the round because then they don't have to focus towards barrels, they can just focus on the rotators. BetBoom have got plenty of opportunities to close. They've got a gun round in round 22. They'll have a gun round in round 24. So I would say 2 very key gun rounds to get this game over and done with.
2 rounds of Sashi get out on the side to try and make this look like a match again. BetBoom still know that even though those 2 rifle chances are the key ones, they've still got opportunities. Upgrade pistols that could steal some picks away, steal a round away. I haven't seen too many round steals over the course of this map. I've seen them in group stages played out and some of the other matches in the playoffs as well. BetBoom. See at least a couple of them. Smokes on initially towards that mid bathrooms area. Mid is going to be taken by BetBoom side of things. Sashi doing a good deagle from Diladez. Goose down to 33 HP though. Zyphon now with 2 men beside him over at the dumpster entryway on the defense. It's isolated. Pretty nice part of things. Cabby with 1 decent trade back, but the responses are good from the CT side. Diladez times on towards Zyphon. Now Pinstar's alone. 30 seconds. And the 4th man back in the way forward. Mistar's down. 1v2 now for Becky. Bomb plant secured safe behind the truck. Would have been seen there charging up. Kill found the 1st man. Second the P250. Dink down. Becky. 10 points of health. Art Frost on 29. But the AK is a bit quicker to the trigger finger. And Sashi will retake the 9th.
Oh, that is a tough watch. There is almost nothing being upgraded in that round. There's a lack of Kevlar, there's a few upgraded pistols, and you can see the vision. Diladez is doing work with that dink. He's getting opening kills, he's getting refrags, and then Art Frost to get the dink. I thought it was done. I was completely sold that eco was going to win the map, but not to be. We hold on for a little bit longer.
That we do. Thank God Sashi's economy was already built out, because that's the kind of round you take a look at and say they could actually lose quite a lot of investment, but AK held M4s for the other players. Mooney's also brought in by the man. BetBoom, however, set themselves up wonderfully with momentum. Mental game must be pretty solid off the back of that. HGs will start off well on Cabby, was jump facing over at the boost angle. Taking it back to 68. BetBoom. That's the only monster presence they show, however. It's heavy-handed from Sashi on the B defensive. Only Zyphon here in mid of the bathrooms. How long does he last for? How much does he take?
Well, I like this from Smuya. They're getting him to search. They're getting him to find impact elsewhere. Now, for Zyphon, because that smoke's just about to clear, he's going to have to back up and go a little bit more defensively. Now he knows he's in trouble.
Still stands well to take a 1-for-1. Diladez trying to look for the player of divider. Nobody's there, though. Smoke's coming a little bit late towards dumpster. Cabby can still beat them ahead of it, get towards truck. Molly sent over at long, over at bank, swing of the flashbang. Oh, I thought that was Magno Jays. Diladez in the back line instead, catches a more stabilized kill. Jumping AKs don't exist, man advantage now for BetBoom. Closing time, Sashi needs to get this retake.
And Diladez is still trying to fight on the off angle out here towards bank. He wants more damage in this round.
AK to watch, he's playing double duty, he's knocked down, wary of the action and the exposure that they could find over on the scene side. First fight kill, found adjustment back, runs out of ammo. Trades are good from Mr. Art Frost now. AK lining up, doing very little in terms of the kill counts. Oh, the AK is detected in the corner, and now it's another dice player. Siren in from mid, knows where the bomb's in department. Tap once by Smooya, missing that AWP shot again. Massive whiff. Will it cost on the map this time? No! Kill from Mr. onto that defuse. Just barely enough time for it, I believe. And indeed, Sashi, stay alive.
What is going on? What is that whiff from Boomich, man? Oh, that's so troll. That round is just finished. Diladez has done everything again. He's got the opening trade. He's got the secondary kill. He set up Boomich. And, well, I don't know. I don't know how that round has actually been able to come through. For Sashi, they're probably full shock that they're still playing here. This has been 2 clutches back-to-back now.
Oh, BetBoom getting frustrated as well. Buyback scene with 3 Galils. So it was 11-12, the 24th round, with the next big buy coming from BetBoom. Instead, they're going to take that bomb plant bonus and lose an opening fight with it. Siren first to fall, the Smooya's boost up in a short water. Down and out for the start.
And now it starts getting very tilting, because you should have closed the last 2. You've come into round 23, and you've lost to an AWP on a boost, which is what you tried in the first half and it didn't work, and now this time it works against you. Magnajez keeping eyes on the jump up. Boomich trying to clear as much of the bathrooms as possible. The issue is the double Galils, and right here against Zyphon, not even seeing much damage being done by Boomich.
Maybe a tag or 2. Artfrost has bomb solo in the bathrooms in the meantime. And flashes out to mid access to 2 lurkers over on the B bomb side. You're going to try and see if they can set up an execution. It rests on Artfrost to get the entry together as a result. This could come down to simultaneous action from both attacking forces. Molotov sent in by Diladez. Trying to drive players out into the open. Nothing is seen. HG's come over. They've drawn that 3rd player back. So it's going to be a chance for Artfrost to strike. He's pulling away at that bomb site. Flashes are sent, but if he goes down, bomb dropped and all. 30 seconds, BetBoom need to make a final decision.
But they have to end A, but they're trying to deal with Mistar, and they're just not giving a chance. This could be a full-on save. They might look at this with 20 seconds on the clock and just hold on to the rifles they have.
Yeah, that's what they're doing as well. It's him backing up towards underpass. Artfrost joining with T-Con. BetBoom. We need these AKs more than anything else, and that's what they'll keep over for Artfrost and Diladez. Money will start to stack for Boomich and for Siren. Magno will have to sack it with the Galil. But it's game on now for Sashi. 1 more round in regulation. 1 more to claim an overtime. But BetBoom, their last chance to secure this map. Or play even more.
And for Sashi, they haven't been to a LAN since July. So this whole second portion of the year, man, they've just been grinding online, haven't they? They've just been trying to work their way up the rank. And now they come here to Sweden, and not only did they surprise all of us with their win against Alliance in the last round, but they are giving BetBoom a run for their money. This is going all rounds in regulation. Is it going towards overtime? Can Smooya work an opening pick again?
Underwhelming warping from the man, but he did turn up in the last round to get that start that Sashi desperately needed. Now hoping, praying that BetBoom offers something again. It's going to be B heavy from the CT side. Zyphon is the solid defender over on A. Rotations are inbound from the big green though. Smooya to support that defensive line. BetBoom are leaning into it.
Now, we've seen previously Zyphon normally going 1 for 1 on these A holds, never really multi-fragging like he's done previously. Smooya holding banana, which allows Zyphon to clear map control. Now he's going to clear the close left-hand side, not see anything.
Flash forward, smokes come up from the T side line. Smooya going to try and get ahead of the curve here. Gets caught off with those flashbangs. They're all moving into mid in the bathrooms. Smooya looking at the rider. First man seen, shoulder bait, causes him to get dinked down. He misses that shot. HE comes in and doesn't get the kill for him. Backs off and gets caught inside that smoke. Zyphon pressured. No flank available for Diladez. He was out towards long, but not that deep in towards it. Boomich now moving into the back line, seeing players. Can't stabilize the kill. Zyphon gets the trade. Siren and Diladez make their move. Diladez, impact moment, only gets the 1 kill for it. Artfrost and Siren chime in. And now it's Becky all alone for a 1v3 clutch to stop Sashi from falling at the final hurdle of this comeback. It needs to be magic. Magno's low, Siren's half. Art Frost is the big threat, and he's sat right on the bomb. Nothing will move him. As Becky searches all around the bomb site. No info, no ideas of where they could possibly be. Smoke, ready, might cover off Art Frost, jump face towards the AWP, but Art Frost gets dinked down. Flash forward, Becky, one final chance on the defuse. Taps it once, he's going to force out the fight toward the Raker gear. They're all covered off though. One man seen, adjustment back, straight bullets can nearly land. He's on the defuse, the AWP of Magno, he hasn't pulled the trigger, he hasn't seen his man. Oh my god, Becky, the impossible becomes reality, and we're going to overtime.
What is going on? Why do they keep trolling, bro? What is Art Frost even doing on the bomb site? As soon as that smoke goes down, all you need to do is crossfire against one another. We've seen a 3v1, a 3v1, and a 2v1 all be trolled. Oh, man, I can't believe it.
BetBoom have bottled their advantage. Quite significantly so. 12-6 is what we saw, and they couldn't finish the job. This is mental. Absolutely mental from them, because you are right. They had it right in the palm of their hands. So many occasions, so many times. They nearly won it on an eco steal. But they pushed the distance. Sashi will not go down so easy. They will not give up this map pick. They refuse to die, even in the most auspicious of circumstances. They take a tactical to calm themselves and move on into MR3.
And the clutch being won by the most inexperienced player in the entire server. Becky with just 54 LAN maps played on HLTV, 30 of them with the Sashi organization. Art Frost has had enough of this business. He's going to try and work in early, but it's the boost up where Siren drops.
Cabby with the opener. Art Frost or Magna moves up. Zyphon has been seen. AK can't get the adjustment, can't get the headshot together. Still hunting, gets caught by a wide swing of Mistar, and then follows it up to a 5v3 for Sashi.
And now Sashi is just in flow state. The confidence is up high. Dilladez is walking out long. Now, Dilladez has been incredible on this T side. So many gun rounds. He is constantly getting Apex. He's just not getting help, though. So many rounds. He is putting up multis, and they're just not closing.
A frag found. Back a bank secured by Dilladez. They're starting to hunt for him, though. Cabby's on the other side of that metal wall. Smooth's AWP starts leaning in. It's all down to timing and positioning. Corner. One to receive. Dilladez will fall. It's 2v4 for BetBoom.
And you've got Boomich out in the bathrooms and Magnajez working from long. They've got to hope for a mistake. The issue is the time. There are so many defenders that are out here, not directly on A, but just with a 4v2 situation.
Shot missed on Smooth's part. Will Ryan replace it. Flashbang over. Connecting on Becky onto Boomich. Magno, 1 versus 4. Team 1 playing utility pulled out. Adjustments a little bit awkward to the second man. Let's get the headshot back towards Bank. 1v2 now. 8 seconds into that bomb plant. Becky being challenged. Glock is pulled. Becky might need some backup, but time is being stalled. And they know it. USP is good for the kill. Sashi, keep 13.
Clever there from Cabby on the B rotation. He just knows, mate, I just leave my teammate. Even if Becky dies, there's not going to be enough time to get the bomb down. So let me just play outside there on the CT rotate. In case he falls, then we're not completely making the round over and done with. BetBoom have now lost so many rounds in a row in which Sashi just keep gaining confidence. And now when you're on the city side, when you're holding on to AKs, when you feel on top of them, this is the moment to strike. This is the moment to go basically undefeated. Try and get a 16-12, close this game out, and put so much pressure on the favorites of a massive choke in the semi-finals.
Sashi on to do it again. What a contrast in our semi-finals as well. This map going to overtime. The first map between Eyeballers and AM. 13-4 for Eyeballers. AM's map pick. And expecting that the Swedes would be in the grand finals on home territory and all. Chance for them to apply their own sort of dark horse favoritism. I think we mentioned earlier on during the competition that they were significant dark horses. BetBoom. Oh, I thought Smooya here, Van. The timing was perfect, nearly. But not to be. No opening just yet.
Now, Siren, a bit more active than what we've seen previously out to Monster. He's been a very defensive player, oftentimes sitting back almost towards the T-spawn area. Now, they put some util down to the Monster wall. They were trying to get Siren in for a pick, try and force someone out in the open. Gilades to work into the bathroom, gives up an opening casualty, and a swing from Xiphon doesn't quite connect.
Magno going for the trade. The dead ends of his brains were splattered all across the bathrooms. Looking up on Isle U. Siren going to push forward. That flashback Spray's manic, and he gets away with absolutely nothing. Boomage forced to trade it. The confusion covering both sides off. And the 3-on-3 leaving a lot of players worse for wear. Becky tagged, Boomage tagged, Magno's also tagged, but now he's dead to Smooya's hands. The walkout along going right, Orc view battle between Artfrost and Smooya. Smooya should hear where Artfrost is with those footsteps. The scope's in. Here's we're going back down connector, and we'll call that into his teammates as a rotation inbound. Hunker down and get ready.
This might be one of Smooya's best rounds yet in the best of 3. He has got this round written all over.
Artfrost caught, bomb drop now, and one man of Boomich with an impossible clutch. Swing forward, and Smooya nails him. 14-12, and I imagine there's a big old cat screech across the entire land hall coming from him.
This is Sashi giving us a good demonstration of not giving up, even when you're down by rounds, even when it looks completely over, coming back into it. Now, it's so concerning that the rounds that they were winning in the tail on the comeback in regulation, it was clutches, right? It was individual brilliance. We've now come into overtime. Bro, BetBoom aren't even getting close to a bomb site. they're getting locked out of kills just on the overall defaults.
Smooya just evades contact. Magno catches Becky. All important start for the BetBoom side. One to fend off the 3-0 Death Wish scoreline. Mistar's traded it back though from beyond that monster position. Smooya seeing one, tries to pre-aim it with the shadow advantage, but a little bit early on that shot. Now the CTs are inbound. Cabby making his move. Xiphon trying to close in the pincers and bracket off the T side. No one is watching the backstab at all. They're going to wait for that man to close in the pincers. Start to watch for it now. Siren's plant will be secured. Retake is up for the Sashi side.
Now, HP is not ideal for a couple of these individuals. Gilades needs to be the guy to step up from the signpost.
Looking at the long push, the check of that position, the one player that's out there. CTs are waiting for an overextension. Smooya is instead going to make his move. Slowly up, shadow seen, no bait this time. Gilades on that corner gives up an elbow, and Smooya, that's enough for him. Swing on Siren, shot connect by the AK. M4's moving, Artfrost gets his kill. Secondary players out there though, Siren strikes back again. All down to Cabby, 1 versus 2. One man picked up, diffused, held all the way. But the quick adjustment comes back, he almost whisks it, but Artfrost keeps the round together, fends off the map point of Sashi.
Just about. You could see the vision that Cabby gets off that bomb, readjusts towards Artfrost and gets back down. Now I think for Boomich, there's a lot of pressure on him to not only get the team out of trouble and make sure that they win this game, but I think the perspective of the two in-game leaders and organizations are different. For Sashi, when you attend a LAN as an underdog team with a stand-in, it's sort of whatever, isn't it? If we can get a better VRS, then great. If we can go on a run, even better. But there's different expectations when Lucky's in the team to when Smooya's here. Whereas for BetBoom, you're the last remaining decent team. You're the last top-end team in the comp. You just have to win. There's just no excuses in the semi-final or the grand final to not take home the trophy.
It's like we said at the start of this series, of all the teams that we had as favourites, BetBoom are the last ones that remain in the competition. If they can't get the W, it'll be another disappointing LAN exit. And if anything, we were expecting them to go to the grand final before things started to concern themselves, but it might still fall apart to Sashi's hands. On for another upset here in the bracket. The thoughts of taking down both Alliance and BetBoom in one day, in 2 series, is... I mean, that's very significant for this Danish side, who we didn't have a lot of faith in from the start. Super sub and all, the stand-ins concerned us. The groups have gone well, yet to drop a map in these playoffs, and well, they haven't done so yet. They look like they were poised to have lost Overpass, but it is well and truly game on now.
And I would say the results that they've achieved here would be understandable online. Definitely not understandable on LAN. Sashi have never been a good LAN team. Even, I know that you like to speak about the summer of last year. It's all online. They didn't really do anything at LAN. Yeah, they qualified to Yellow Compass, but didn't do anything at the actual tournament. All of those good results were upsetting top-end Tier 2 teams or even Tier 1.5 teams online. This is a hell of a statement to do it on LAN.
On point here and now. Sashi. Shot missed against Art Frost. Kill from Zyphon can punish. They move to their T side, the Danes. Carrying on this overtime potential. Zyphon watching connector. Smooya making his moves up. Magno. Trying to evade contact in the bathrooms, and he'll be successful in that respect. Only so much with it though. T's are going to make their way in from mid. Have to defend from passive.
And Magno probably needs two. I think one kill's just not going to be enough. The rotates are going to be too slow in connector.
Excellent turn towards man. He's got a lineup for a double, nearly a triple. Becky on 19 just holds the trade. But that does change things here. This becomes doable for BetBoom in the retake. The problem's going to be Mr. out here towards mid. Will he be detected? Yes. Deladez searches and swipes him out. It rests on Smooya. HP AWP, swing for Siren, puts him down. Deladez finishes off Becky. And BetBoom will equalise.
Now that's annoying because a lot of things have gone right for you in that round. You've got an opening kill straight away from Zyphon. You start grouping. Even though Magnajez gets two, Mistar should be in the round-winning spot. Now, I believe that he jiggled slightly too early and was seen on radar because they were pre-aiming that for way too long. They definitely had their eyes set on holding that party angle. Sashi would have felt that that was the ticket to at least getting 15, but BetBoom, they hold out.
And they keep control, at least for the moment. At least for the scoreline. Even starts his rifles. Back once again with the AWP. Might not be possible in the next round for Sashi. The CT side, though, their rifle basis has 3 AKs available to them, so they've got firepower aplenty. Convert that firepower into success. Crack angle from Smooth, trying to hunt for contact, and a kill that can't really be taken. Doesn't pull the trigger, let alone go for the fight. Just the info. Sashi careful to the uptake, but leaning into mid again.
A lot of boosts coming through from the CT line just to keep eyes out towards connector and see what's going on in short water. Very heavy B for the moment means that managers cannot afford to go down to any sort of lurk on A, whether it be from long, banana, from the bathrooms. If he falls, the round's over. Now Siren might just get a good timing to get one kill in at con and then just get off with the boost.
Frost is now going to back up Magno. As Deladez finds a strike on the kill found up towards Monster. Siren on the boost. Finally capitalizes upon Zyphon and Sashi. Down to 3 men, letting this one fall apart. BetBoom on course to take their map point again. Sashi need to fight back like their lives depend on it because it might well do here in the tournament. Their map pick should have been lost and dragged out to OT. Cabby running out into the open, no backup support. Deladez and Siren have it unlocked. Smooya's no scope can get beyond that smoke. But it's 1 kill out of 5 required for the clutch, and it's not going to happen. BetBoom back in the driver's seat, back on map points.
And with the perfect buy state, 3 AKs being saved, AWP in for Art Frost. And for Railway as the coach, he's probably just furious. This game should have been wrapped up 13-6, 13-7. We should have closed at least one of those clutches. We've somehow dragged this game out to overtime, which is basically a joke in itself. Now that we're on that point, lads, just get the job done. Like, just get overpass over and done with. Get 1-0 up. Mentally reset going into train. Because this has been a disappointing performance from BetBoom, considering where they were at the start.
100%. Think about the players that you have on this team, the kind of individuals that we talk about the team with second chances because they've all been at tier 1 or the high-end tier 2 teams at the very least. And you're being decimated by guys who certainly haven't been there in a very, very long time, if they were there at all. Some could argue, so you certainly do. They've lost Cabby first up. BetBoom. Oh no! Oh, that might seal it. Zyphon, a player we had looked at to highlight. And in the end, a bottle job of a spray to leave 3 players remaining on Sashi.
Oh, that was such a needed kill. What a difference that would have made. That would have forced a little bit of a counter-rotate back towards A. Oh, that's the biggest whiff I think we've seen in the best of 3, and we've seen some pretty large ones already. Now you just group Monster, try and contact in. You need a miracle to recover this round.
Oh, Becky's in play, and miracles are his speciality, as we saw in round 24. Flash against him and Smooth, though, blinding him off. Smooth's going to try and take entry. Molotovs over at Toxic. No one's there. Into the bomb site they look to go. Bomb. The backline's a missed start. Becky's down. Smooth trying to provide a trade, as is the bomb carrier, but Boomich takes Smooth down, and Misstar is left out to dry. 1v5, it finally comes to a conclusion at 16-14. BetBoom finally secure overpass.
And I know that I mentioned that Dilladez was doing a bit of stat padding out there in the first half. I'll still put my name on that one. He definitely was. But in that second half, on the T side and in OT, he's a completely different player. He is just so solid in gun rounds. And it's only that his teammates were trolling a lot of those late round scenarios that we ended up being pushed all the way to overtime. Now, I think for Sashi, it's a bit heartbreaking because you initiated a really good comeback. You had probably Becky, I should say, best clutch ever on LAN, and it doesn't reward you. It doesn't quite give you the map victory in the end.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, if you are Becky, you might be a little bit miffed at how things played out. I guess not too much because that lack of experience that you mentioned before, but you are right about the fact that he clutched what was basically a 1v3 to keep that whole thing together for Sashi, and it felt like that surge of confidence applied towards the whole team. In the end, however, it did peter out, and BetBoom did manage to maintain control. Equally on the other side of the board, though, the fact of the matter is, they had a lot of map points in that one leg, and it probably shouldn't have been dragged out as far as it did on BetBoom's part.
Yeah. But isn't this similar signs to what happened in the previous best of 3? Map 1 was really competitive against Metasport. It went all rounds in regulation. They went into their map pick and, well, they put them to bed pretty quickly. So I'm not too concerned there for BetBoom.
Well, Train is the pick of the BetBoom side, and we know exactly why they like to pick it. We know how proficient they are upon it. We know how Sashi don't win it all that much. So first time it will appear on LAN for the Sashi side. Let's see if they can contend against BetBoom, or whether BetBoom indeed will wrap this up in a 2-0 fashion after this break.
Jag åker bakom. En kamera. Ja. Flash höger. Jag chillar, jag gör mig kameran. Jag låter den komma in lite. Flash med höger. Höger.
Bredband 2. Helt vanligt internet.
Går du i tanken att bygga din egna dator, men kanske inte riktigt vet vilka delar du ska välja eller hur du ska komma igång? Då är The Build rätt lösning för dig. Tillsammans med marknadens mest välkända tillverkare har vi samlat ihop och skapat färdiga paket med komponenter till riktigt bra priser. För att det ska vara lätt för dig så skickar vi med en tydlig manual i både pappers- och videoformat. Dessutom får du hela 5 års garanti på hela ditt bygge. Med The Build får du alla delar du behöver för att kunna bygga din egna dator. Så tveka inte att ta steget till en egen byggdator idag.
Red Bull ger dig vingar.
Well, Sashi got close to stealing their own map pick away, having gone down by quite a margin. The drag towards overtime felt like it was nearly impossible, but it still was not enough for the Danish team. Overpass falls to favour of BetBoom. Now they move towards Train as their map pick in the series. Before the break, we did say that there's a reason they picked it, and I think we're about to discover exactly why.
I will say that for Sashi, though, their LAN record is pretty good on Train. So we know that the pick rate is very good both online and for LAN for BetBoom, but it's not just sold, is it? It's not just a straight 2-0, and I think we probably saw that by being up 12-6 and it somehow going into overtime. When I look at the Danes, it's been a little while, but 13-10 win versus Eyeballers, another 13-10 versus Eyeballers, a 13-11 versus 9, and a 13-10 versus M80 on LAN. Those are some pretty decent matchups. The concern is, well, what about in this one tournament? Because when we saw BetBoom play Train against Little Mix yesterday, and they just pumped them, just absolutely destroyed them on this map.
Should be noted as well that those lands from Sashi, they are the likes of Ice Invitational, Level Up Lund, and Glitched Masters, the latest of those tournaments back in June. So it has been a fair while since we've seen this map from them on LAN. So let's see whether that truly does apply here and now. Pistols are live. BetBoom picked this map, and if they take their way that they did in the last best of 3, they'll be getting a close map 1 and a dominating map 2, like you said also before the break. USP is out for Sashi on the CT side start.
And that T side first half they had on Nuke versus Metasport just before was a 10-2. I mean, that's never easy by any squad to get that sort of a margin on a T side. So now starting on the T side of Train, I'm using that as a bit of a benchmark. Now Becky out here on B has got a spotter with Mistar, and they've got a flash to play off of each other.
Flash forward, Becky, good blindness onto Magno. Jez gets that kill, doubles up on Siren, eventually capitalizing with the bullets sent towards the man. Triple on the man that's also out of the base. That's still a Dez trying to fight against, but ultimately Becky wins out that fight. Distraction has brought Sashi all in towards that B-bomb site. So Artfrost will try to get Boomage on the bomb plant. Secondary kill comes in against Becky. Smoothie turns it back. Carry's caught by Boomage, who's in a 1 versus 3 behind E-box. 2 more to go, both coming out of Zed. Mistar's just been seen. Player at Zed now also spotted. Info on both. Headshot gain. 1v1. Smoothie versus Boomage. Boomage unscathed. Smoothie takes no damage either. Boomage looking for that headshot. Overcooking the flicks though. Finally Smoothie gets some tags off, but Boomage has more bullets in the magazine. Gets in a reload back behind the red tray and domes his man in with a full 1v3 clutch for BetBoom to take the pistol.
And we've gone from the last map where they couldn't close rounds to now winning an insane clutch. Becky has got 3 on B. He's done absolutely everything. That is a 2v5 recovery. Now, it helps that Artfrost can beat the rotation, can't he? He can get aggressive out there in con, fight them straight away. But Boomage should never be in a position to win that round, and that is going to be tilting if you're Sashi.
Indeed it is. Because they had that one on lock pretty much. 2v5, you never expect to lose that kind of circumstance, but they did. Even the 1v3 brought down by Boomage, he's already kickstarted things off for the BetBoom side in a wonderful line of fashion. Because again, if you are making comparisons to that last best of 3 against Metasport, the second map was a complete and absolute blowout. As was the other semi-final matchup as well between AM and Eyeballers. Eyeballers 13-1 to AM on Inferno. So they are in the grand finals, will face the winner of this best of 3 the same. Maybe even the winner of this map if it's BetBoom. 1-for-1 trades as Magno takes Smoothie from beyond the grave.
We knew that the other side of the bracket was definitely weaker than this side, but even still, I almost wish that Spellin and Co would have been able to beat AM yesterday, and that there was just something kicking in that semi-final. Dilladez knows that it's heavy out here to Ivy, so it's been a fairly expensive round for 2 casualties already, but nothing that's going to threaten the round outright. And for Eyeballers, I mean, they'll be looking on and saying, look, if we play Sashi, we play Sashi. If we play BetBoom, then we're going to be the heavy underdogs. That's just the 2 ways of looking at it. However, for the Swedes on land, being the last remaining Swedish team, that's going to be a good feeling for them.
And then the grand finals on home soil. Chance to make the best of the situation that they've been given. Obviously a dark horse in the competition, and now the home field advantage perhaps might present an opportunity or 2. Right now with BetBoom being the other key favourite, it would be a bit of a David versus Goliath grand final. If BetBoom can lock in this best of 3, of course, 2-0 start on the second map, being map up in the best of 3. Sashi got their buy up for the first time on Train. Warp on Smoothie, M4s for everybody else. Initial nades will do damage towards Smooth. Pop Dog uncontested by the CTs.
Because he doesn't re-aggress into Pop Dog, he only goes down to 71. But BetBoom have been quite aggressive with the util state to get early map control. Boomage can just sit out here in Pop Dog. Now you've got Dilladez as the Ivy lurk and the Extremity A player. Now, when he was out there on the T side of Overpass, he was packing a lot more, being involved in a lot of trade frags. I don't think we're going to get much from him out here on Train. It's going to be more your Siren, Magnajez, and even Artfrost. That trio is going to be more impactful than what we see from Dilladez.
Siren looking to move on Becky. Backed up over at the Heaven position and outside from both sides. Mistar's also supporting Becky, who is looking down over in the map. Will start to plot out Heaven, take a good fight. Siren will fall half HP for the youngster. Mistar trying to provide support, but doesn't quite get away with too much more. They just drive BetBoom back at least.
And they should start splitting A because they've already got control towards Pop Dog and they've got a late lurk coming out from Ivy. Now, this is not being watched.
Yeah, not even suspecting it. No one's got their head turned. Smoke's in the way to try and block off the man. Smooya will like it onto Artfrost. Zyphon has been seen. Smooya's known about. Could get exposed right here. Referee sees one, takes it back. Secondary kill. Also locks in, but Cabby takes 2 back on the return. Boomage, another 1v3 for him. Taking the first frag. Dipping back in towards Pop Dog, but no time with the rotations. Had to go ahead and run it all the way from the first port of call. 10 seconds now. Plant the bomb, but both players at the CT side have pretty much got all the bomb plant positions on lock. 3 seconds, and he's caught pretty easily by Becky, who locks in the first round for Sashi.
And Dilladez activates at the perfect time. He just doesn't get enough help from the teammates coming out of Pop. He just needs one of them to get a trade back, because he had to kind of fight early because you have the rotator already coming up from Con. There's 3 players up there on the A defense. Now, what was also quite cheeky in that round is BetBoom about, 40 seconds on the clock? They tried to put some util down in B to draw util, but because Becky was up there in Heaven on an off angle, he can't re-smoke ramp, because if he does, it gives away his position. So all of that util from the T side to try and draw rotations and draw util, it couldn't be possible.
BetBoom so fast into these pistol plays. Of course, bomb plant bonus lacking, not enough cash to sustain a true buy. Eco on the second stage, lost bonus into the rifle for the next start. Expressed a little bit by the T-side line, but not much enough to compound with any of the casualties over him or his teammate, who also took damage. All 5 alive on the CT side. No bomb plant again for the BetBoom side. It was all a basic eco.
BetBoom are in a state now where they need to prioritize as much contention from the start of this game as possible, because throughout the entire map pool, it's a very weak T-side round win percentage on Train. Currently only 43%. Some of the other maps that are quite low is Mirage at 46. Everything else is 50 or more. So we know that there's going to be some struggles, but you don't want to be giving the freedom of streaks like we saw from Sashi towards that tail end of the first map of Overpass.
BetBoom. Getting up and through towards Brown Halls early. No major contact against the CT side. Booming to taking some damage though. They're getting very quiet about this, trying to pass the weapons back and forth between each other. Alright, you two on the right hand. BetBoom set for what seems to be a very quick B here.
Very defensive B line. Becky is sitting back defensively. Smooya's on rotation, so they should be able to get the plant down pretty easily.
Smoke's coming in. The CTs are drawn back in from spawn. Smooya watching for a Heaven play. It's all in from Ram though. No one watching that directly. Becky's presence is flashed off. Dead to rights on Artfrost. Nice kill to open. Cabby can take down the low HP Boomers though. Advantage extended by Smooya against Artfrost. Siren now looks up to play aggressive. Bomb plant secured by Magnajez. Got teammate right behind him as well towards ramp entrance. All down to this AK. The aggression needs to try and find a pick back to the desert. Instead, gets Cabby. Siren is also revealed. 3-on-3 to the retakers. Sashi trying to continue to close the gap between them and the T-side line. Siren makes a move. Magnus caught back. Smooya strikes Siren. It's all down to Dilladez. 1v2. Can't make it happen. Mistar secures him and Sashi have the lead.
Excellent round from Smooya. Instant rotation kill coming out from the back lanes, and then even doubles up. And the games that we've covered for Sashi, it's been like Smooya's been the missing piece that's just trying to help them out, right? I don't think he's ever had a map so far in the playoffs where he's taken over. Yes, we had a couple of good rounds from him out on Overpass. If they can just get maybe a 10% more, 15% more from just an average performance, I think that would allow Sashi to consider themselves a bit of a threat here on Train. Because when Smooya's performing, the team is going to be doing well.
Advantage Denmark. BetBoom. Hero Galil on this buyback for round 6.5 invest overall. Sashi on paper should be making their way up to 4 rounds. BetBoom focus on just getting their CT side bowls on everybody else. Magno and Siren, easy picks in the Tech 9. They want a little bit more than just CT focus. Their T-half has already secured a third, it looks like. 5-on-3 established. Tabby's AWP. Can't find any of the things here. They start to see one player. Becky struck out towards Zed. Shoulder baits, well done from Magno. Still gets picked up, and Becky also gets another one onto Davis. So actually turns back with his head. 2v2 with Boom. It's a quick burst, but Orpa Smooya leaves it all on the captain. Look at that bomb. Clutch the round. Smooya known. Backlines can be held in CT spawn. He's got time, and needs to think about that bomb plant.
Smooya's playing this defensively and knows that there's time to play with. Becky is already starting the reposition, and Boomich is going to struggle to get this bomb down.
Not as much as you might think. Becky's going to make his way around the back orange. Boomich will have his back turned towards that position regardless. Becky going to continue his pull flank to lock in the round for the Sashi side. A bit dicey at times, but the half buy does do its damage, and the bomb plant bonus will not hurt either for the BetBoom camp.
Well, I don't know how they haven't won that round. I know that we're watching it from Cabby's point of view, sitting back deep in Ivy, but that's a 5v3 where they've dealt with the 2A players. That should just be insta get the bomb down, play out the post plant. Instead, they're fighting Ivy, they're fighting against the AWP, but for whatever reason, they're taking so long to finally get that bomb in, and then eventually Boomich has to get it down in the 1v2. A very strange round there from BetBoom. That should have been round over from those 2 opening picks.
Flash in somehow, doesn't get the shot back for Smoothie, doesn't quite get the kill. Turn off either, not even a leg shot attack. Blindness of that AWP. Smoothie gets out of the way of Brownhorse being chased in by Boomich. Today could get out of dodge. Tech 9 just missed the mark against him, and the stray bullets don't land either. Close for both sides, but no cigar for that opening frag.
The Dilladez can't activate because it's been so heavy towards the Brown Horse. They needed that kill onto Smoothie to activate a timing. Now he's alone on B. Previously it's been Becky and him crossfiring, but this time there's not even a rotator in sight.
Still finds Boomich, has a good shot to open up, look towards heaven, but they're all coming out of ramp. Footsteps to get heard around the bomb train. Flashes don't connect either. He's going to have to protect himself while tunnel visioned. Backup rotates in. They don't know where Smoothie's gone to. Focus fire to the back line. Zyphon's going to get picked up. Still looking for a way back as Becky sees presence around the edge of that smoke, but gets killed off in that one-to-one trade. Still 3v3. Smoothie comes an eye. Takes his chances. Cabby's AWP also strikes. Magna J's down. Dilladez in a 1-versus-3 clutch. Sashi will lose 1. Cabby would have been heard there. Back up a Mistar's a little bit further out of the bomb site. Dilladez needs to go back for the bomb plant as well.
He's waiting for a fight, and he's trying to keep his eyes locked in the back lanes. But the unknown element of Mistar is making this clutch very difficult. You're not sure, are you being flanked? Are they both coming in together? He spotted the AWP, but he still doesn't know where the rifler is.
Can't open for Cabby to try and deny. Instead he goes up to the high ground. Dilladez would have been heard. Would have heard that individual. Incendiary sent back over at ramp. Dilladez turned away from the back lines though. Mistar continuing to flank. Seen. Adjustment to the headshot. Dilladez has done this well. 1v1 now. Knows where Cabby came from last. Just spotted him above the oil train as well. Trying to bait him. That wasn't mistaken. Oh, what an adjustment. Straight to the cranium. Dilladez. There's the impact we're looking for.
Oh, there's a reason why his stats are insane. He's easily the best player of the tournament. And while we didn't quite get to see that X factor all the time out there on map 1, that is a crazy clutch. The awareness and just the adaptability to snap back down, because you don't really have the peeker's advantage there towards the bomb train, do you? I mean, Mistar's coming around the corner. You can only see his head, and he sees all of your body, and still just domes him. What a round from Dilladez.
Yeah, that was sick. That was absolutely brilliant.
It is crazy, though, that they've won, what, a 1v3 from Boomich on pistol, and a 1v3 from Dilladez, and they're still down by rounds. Like that's not a good sign, I would say, from BetBoom. You want to have more consistency in the gun rounds. You want to have more strength in at least the post plants. You don't want to constantly be on the back foot and trying to recover situations.
lose the first fight again. Cabby down Dinadez this time. The impact man of the last clutch. Fast out of this default. Round 8. See Sashi up a man again. Double offset from Smooya and Cabby, which actually has done rather well when it came to the retakes. Typhon and Mistar leaning forward in towards T-Con. Now Magno's going to be forced to try and act out of it. Secondary player also inbound to grab that bomb. How much does Magno get out of this scenario? Typhon just takes him down to the SMG.
And it's such a heavy bait because they'll only think that one player is aggressive out there towards T-Con. This round might be over already. Minute on the clock. Lack of map control, no one's in trading positions. Artfrost is determined for a wide swing and mistake, but it's just not coming. Sashi are being really defensive about this.
Don't need to aggress. Time on their side. BetBoom need to make the move to get the bomb plant down. 3 players from 3 different avenues of attack. 1 from Ivy, 1 from T-Con, 1 from Pop. Pop being watched from elevated angles. Cabby's orb is posted towards the Smooya lands Boomich. Missed shot from Cabby. And a problem here for Siren, now being a harasser into the back of Main, although with his positioning in mind. Feels like BetBoom are a little bit too late to the party. Artfrost going to back away. And both players will keep their guns for a 5th on Sashi's board.
And there's a large question mark about this double AWPing for 2 good reasons. The first one is double AWPing is just non-existent in CS2. You don't see it like you used to see it in Go. And secondly, Sashi have never double AWPed. Even in previous iterations of the squad, they've never had players that have wanted to pick up a second big green. So for whatever reason, Cabby believes that the AWP with Smooya that can be a bit more of a roam player, right? He can go out towards B, he can challenge, he can rotate into Con, he can help out to T-Con, and then you just leave the second AWP as basically just a turret. You hold it deep in Ivy, you hold the sightline. There's got to be something they've seen in a demo or something they've attributed, because it's uncommon to see this.
BetBoom feeling the pressure. Becky moving up. Moving around the corner at Pop. Nice and opening aggression will work out for him. Siren will trade it. Solo activity for Sashi. Just lose out that offline.
Yeah, Becky getting run boosted as Smooya starts to over-aggress. Orc Jewel should go the way of Artfrost, and indeed it does.
At the tighter angle, had less of an angle to check. Smooya was trying to pre-aim the wider position. You saw how that worked out for him. Advantage for BetBoom now. For one of the first few times we've seen over the course of these defaults. Usually been Sashi's opening frags that have worked out. As they didn't get the open, the trades have been good this time.
Well, Sashi keep blocking with this T-Con smoke, but they've had 2 extensions that haven't warranted too much success. Becky only gets 1, Smooya gets nothing. And there's no extremity lurk. Now, Cabby's seeing nothing out in B, so they can stack up 2 players on A. It's still going to be tough to fend off against the 4 T-side players.
Mistar on the bomb train, takes a fight and loses. Magno picks up to the 2 versus 4 now on favour of BetBoom. AK spray from Zyphon does catch that bomb carrier, but not the kill against him. Goes in the back, gets caught instead. Swing back to Magno. Okay. Individual moment from the Dane. Double up to a 2v2. Orb of Cabby on the rotation back from Brownhorse will come in from Pop for the rest of this retake. 35 HP for Siren, leaves him a little bit worse for where the Orb in the back of Artfrost. Better be ready for Cabby now. Oh, this is perfect. Round on for Sashi now. Siren stands alone. Utility sent to the back of the bomb train. HG sent over a hell. Zyphon making his move. Headshot gained. Siren takes back 1. And no defuse kit for Zyphon either. I think he's out of time for this. Taps it once. I think he's picked up a kit now. Forcing the fight with Siren, but Siren's forced him away. And that will be enough to secure the round of it.
Well, that was incredibly well played from Siren to isolate 1 of 2 angles. Then as soon as you get the kill, you just sit back and play time. However, if I'm Rolf and I'm the guys on the eyeballers, I'm looking at this game and maybe even reviewing back the first one, and I'm thinking, geez, they're throwing some rounds. They've had so many situations on Overpass and Train where they're just up by massive man advantages, and somehow they find a way to not so much just ego swing, but find a way to lose rounds. And that's not encouraging moving forward into the final, even though, let's say it's a 2-0, they're going to be heavy favorites. That's a real target on their back. That's something that BetBoom need to fix.
That's a very good point. BetBoom losing a lot out of these rounds if they are winning them at all. Sometimes they don't. I mean, even that round turned into it was a 4v2 at a certain point, remember. Almost fell to pieces. Lost a lot more than they bargained for. Sashi's economy state could still try and find the reset against BetBoom. Lost bonus to be lost on the T-side line. Now aggressive stances from Becky this time. He is going to get posted aggressive over on the B defense. Insofar as defending the Heaven access, Brown Halls will be taken by BetBoom without much resistance at all.
Now, because of the util and the buy is light, they have to play 2B. They just don't have the belt for Becky to keep blocking with a smoke and an incendiary, so they're bringing Smooya over. They've had this crossfire previously. Now, there has been no contact with either smoke or players towards A. This is a full regroup to an exec.
Molly sent. Flashes over. Becky back over at Heaven. Kill Phalanx. Both those individuals unaffected by any utility. It's a simple double with 2 1v1 fights. Smooya just going to chime in. Doesn't quite win out against Magna Jez. The drive from Dev to trade. Dinadez will trade it, but Becky dinks down one more. USP's pulled up into the bomb carrier. Dinadez trying to strike from Ram, but he misses his chance. Art Frost is low. Dinadez needs to perform once again in the 2 versus 2. The bomb carrier is caught back over at Brown Halls. Becky dipped away using the smoke to try to find a wider angle, and Dinadez punishes him for it. All on Mistar now. Versus 2. Dinadez steps up. Big round from him again. That equalises BetBoom.
He is unbelievable. This is such a joy to watch, and maybe just a joy to watch him. I don't know if it's a joy to watch BetBoom. That's another case in point where Becky steps up more than what I think most anchors could do. That's 2 kills against the ramp players, wasting time, buying rotation room. Unfortunately, Smooya gets absolutely nothing. Becky's had an incredible game. Easily one of the best performances that I've seen from him individually.
100%.
But it's still not accounting for the overall threat of the series.
At least for him as an individual, it continues to develop with Sashi's own faith in him. From not ready to getting there to now, the best showing that we've seen from him on land on the Sashi side. Certainly in general for the Sashi side overall. BetBoom. Make light work of him and the Padres though. It's Eco Pistols that stack into towards Ticon, hoping they can get one frag out of it. In the end, they will be nothing gained by the CT side. Outside of one good deagle shot from Cabby there at Ivy, nothing that should make a difference to the last round of the half. BetBoom have the funds to buy. Sashi also the same, lacking in the AWP department. It's M4s for all CTs.
When we were talking earlier about the lack of T rounds, typically speaking for BetBoom, even if they go 6-6, I think that's a result. I think you'd look at that first half on a positive note. You might be able to stretch it further. Now, there is no denying that if that clutch from the likes of Boomich and twice from Dinadez doesn't come in, we look at a completely different scoreline. We look at a really one-sided scoreline lead for Sashi. Zypher aggressively out towards Ticon. They've tried to take space previously, and he's going to try and do the same again.
Slow to the uptake of the default here. Smokes down over at Ivy. Art Frost's AWP is watching. Cabby contesting the individual as BetBoom start to mount up over at Brown Halls. Seems to be B-side take attempt. Becky's going to block it with the incendiary. Art Frost still surges for that one frag back on the lurk. No one is offering themselves up there. It's passive engagement. Finally gets a chance, but it hits the wall and misses his ban. Flashbangs might stall them out, try to draw attention away from the B-side hit because it is inbound.
There's still plenty of time, and for Becky, he's run out of nades now, so he can't block. He just has to fight solo on B.
Utility's coming in. Flash catches him right in the face. Second one unavailable. Finds a fight. Transfer does very little damage with the second man. Magna Jez with the trade. Art Frost takes the time to stabilise his shot to Zyphon. Takes a lot of damage for it, but advantage just now for BetBoom. On the bomb site. AK awkward spray from Magno. Comes up with one. Art Frost is very far away. Don't think he can get towards the bomb train either. Dive in on Smooya. AK set up. Shot not even going to come close to connecting. Cabby was always going to defuse either way. As the defuse will lock out a 6-all half Sashi dead set even at the end of their CT side.
And it's definitely a scoreline that you don't see frequently. The top performer from both kills and just overall impact is a B anchor. On Train, your B player doesn't normally do very much, do they? Sometimes block with a bit of util, you drive them away, you go 1-for-1 on the execs, but it's always the A players that tend to get the majority of the kills. Now transitioning that to success in the second half is going to be difficult for Becky. BetBoom, I mean, my eyes are just going to be on Diladez. With what he's done in the first half, you just have to look at him again going into the second.
11-9. Among the top fraggers for his team, beaten out only by Becky of Sashi at 13. It's the CT side for BetBoom now. Higher win percentage on this side of the map. Negative win percentage for Sashi on the contrary to the T side. Best stays behind him. Certainly for Magna wants to make it so. Kills for him and Diladez in the T-con aggression. Becky the only man to get a trade back. Advantage for BetBoom. And the bomb will make his way out fast here. Flashes forward. Diladez does get caught by a headshot of Mistar. Bloom is going to have to buy a fall back as Artfrost trades back over at Pop Dog. Man on site. Bomb yet to hit towards it. Smoke off against this individual. Try and keep Artfrost from getting the kill. He still lands it from blind. Smooth alone.
Excellent patience from BetBoom to just recognize how they've thrown away so many of these rounds previously by just overpeaking. They retreat instantly, don't they? Artfrost goes back into Pop. Boomage goes back into Con. And the timing is impeccable. The smoke goes down. You're waiting. You eventually spam, and it's a good connection. Now for Smooya, you've got the bomb, but you've got a 1v3, and you need to deal with Artfrost first, and then once you get contact against him, you're basically just sending it into a bomb site, either A or B.
Bomb plant bonus may be the best thing you can get out of this one. Open plant as well, dangerous. Does secure it though. Siren moving up, player in the back. Well, distraction was there for the Dualies, and Siren could just dome his man in the back of the head. Pistol win for BetBoom, back in the lead over Sashi. Shut down by individual impact. A little bit of luck going the way of the BetBoom camp as well. But they had that man advantage at the start there and they never truly let it go.
And this is now the conversation of whether the force buy is on now. Iceberg was a very aggressive caller with the buy states for Sashi, whereas I think Cabby is a little bit more reserved. They've got a bomb plant, but only 2 kills. Becky's going to go up for the invest, and Smooya is too, so they definitely are buying it down. I think this is a must-win for Sashi, because otherwise you'll be looking at, what, a 6-9 deficit on the T side of Train, a map down in a best-of-3 on LAN in a semi-final. This is last chance for me.
It might seem crazy to say that with a 1-round deficit, but remember, this T side is notoriously difficult to play on Train, past, present, and most likely future versions of the map, if we're being honest. Sashi already taking damage on Cabby, at least certainly on the pistol. The 3 riflers are the ones you want to pay attention to make the biggest difference in this round. That's on Mistar, leading them up towards Ivy. Becky and Smooya not too far behind him. First contact, that first player step by, re-peeks in, shut down Smooya. Smifen can take a trade back on Diladez, so there's one responsive in. Boomage now being concerned about the T-con presence. He dealt with them with the Julies in the past, but now he's got no further backup. Meanwhile, the bomb is on the site, yet to get planted. Cabby, body block, Boomage. No idea for it. Both players get out of the way, and now the CTs can come in and get stalled out to lock out the casualties. Becky escapes with the bomb, and again might get a bomb plant for Sashi. The rest of the round, it's impossible.
Well, Becky just needs to put damage up, because they might think about force buying again, won't they? Lost bonuses kicking in, bomb goes down. If he can maybe get 2 picks, I think there's another buy on the table. If he gets any less than that, then it's probably just an eco.
First fight, instantly taken, and he doesn't find a single casualty. Good effort not to be 8-6 now for BetBoom's part. Sashi, as you say, should not consider another force up.
Now, what's a shame in that one scenario is that they spotted Boomage getting behind the red train and getting into that smoke. The problem is, Cabby's on the other side already on red HP, so he can't spam that deagle, because if he does, and he doesn't find the kill straight away, then he's just insta-dead. So they're both waiting to play the time. The problem is they wait for too long, and then that's when the CTs just arrive en masse. They're just all starting to swing in on A. And 2 rounds the difference. Elita Rico comes in. Artfrost, I mean, you don't even see the AWP coming into, what, the second round after pistol? He got held back from that last. And they'll try and get him involved in as many AWP duels as possible.
Tech 9s and Deagles. Orp setting for Art Frost. Spot at the shoulder. Sashi not taking many major fights. Not much firepower to play with in the equipment. 2 swing in. They do get Art Frost back, but he does take Mistar out of the equation first up. It's a 1-for-1 trade. And a big green gun that Cowrie can try and play with.
And the Orb's in his hand, so you know that there's danger. But is there danger to a round victory? Probably not. Maybe the odd kill. BetBoom are still searching out here in the brown halls. They've got an aggressive setup with 2 towards heaven.
Slow it down and make your moves. Two smokes to get him to the bomb site. The rifles are still ready to receive on BetBoom's part. Sirens, in fact, are going to start to progress. Might get caught off by Smooya, who lands his shot. Now 4v3 for Sashi. Deagles right around the corner, getting checked upon. Lines up 2 kills. Deagle up Siphon. Benitez takes him back. Smooya now needs to clutch at a 1-on-2 scenario of his own. Bombs at his feet. 25 seconds to the clock. Grabs it, gets inside of that smoke. Can he get the plant down for it or tap it? Try and force these CDs to make mistakes. Just spotted to the desk. 17 seconds. Been seen. Smooya connects his shot. Now back towards default. Just seen at the high ground of Magno. And BetBoom will just secure the round.
And they're getting close to seeing the all-important 13th. Now that was touch and go. That was definitely uncomfortable. But a stat line for any Sashi fans that make you more uncomfortable is that we have had 9 completed best-of-3s in this competition from last night to today, and only one of them has gone to a 3rd map. We have seen so many 2-0s, and some even in whitewashing scoreline fashion. They've got to try and see if they can dig deep here in the T side and somehow manage a mirage.
Art Frost's AWP set and ready. Flash against him will force him off angle. That means Smooya can take the angle himself. Camera splash is right there for the CT side though, so they'll get the info back of the Ivy presence. (9-6). Still that are good on BetBoom. Hunting for that first pick though. They're waiting for Sashi to make the moves overall. It's slow. It's very slow.
It's very cautious, but it's also quite aggressive with Boomich taking all of T-Con. That MP9 takes a lot of space away and also minimalizes the distance. Now, because there's a lack of control by the Ts in that area of the map, it allows them to stack 2 players up on B. You've got Siren and Magnajez that can now start blocking, and Art Frost could potentially be the 3rd player on rotate to Con.
Magno, AUG locks up a heaven. Mistar trades it 4v4. M4 Magno does clothesline Smooya. That's all important. AWP of Art Frost also in support with Magno also getting a double up. Becky is left alone. 1v3. Surrounded by the CT presence all up and down the shot. No way out of here. No way to break it. Overwhelmed by the numbers game. Trades are all good in the hood. As it continues to go the way of BetBoom, they are running riot and running away with this matchup.
And I'm sure, Jay, that if BetBoom was to close 13-6, 13-7, one of those early clutches out there on Overpass, we probably have a very different perspective on them now. I mean, they've come into train, haven't really been tested in the first half. They've come into the second half. It's kind of the same conversation. This is dominant scorelines on both map 1 and on map 2.
Not a single round gain in this half so far. Like in this case as well, Boomich. Run boost, pulling a Becky, taking down Mistar and Cabby and Smooya. Quick burst of the SMG. Plenty of cash, plenty of impact, plenty of kills, and plenty more where they came from. BetBoom locking out the half by 11-6 now. And should be closing in the next 2 because Sashi have shown us nothing on T-side train.
Well, it's tilting that even in this round, you're bringing a decent amount of expense forward, aren't you? You're upgrading an AK, you're getting some armor forward, you're getting some util, and on first contact in the first 15 seconds, it's just a 2v5. It's just like, well, we've invested all this cash and we've just got nothing. Nothing that can help us cause anything, win a round, drop a few players, target the opposition economy. Very underwhelming round 17, and for BetBoom, they've got their eyes on the main prize. Becky can't even get anything either. That is a wonderful round from Boomich in particular.
2 to the win, 5 to make up. Sashi must start to realise that the end is nigh for them here in Journey. Must start to understand the lack of composure that they've held, the lack of firepower and presence, the lack of play out here on train. On their map pick, they're not even taking it away. Fought so hard to maintain that overpass and all. Wondering if maybe if you turned it to a third, maybe if you stressed BetBoom, got them a little bit more fatigued, then maybe you might have surged ahead. The opening kill going their way again for BetBoom. Sashi seemed to find no response. Zyphon is first out of the fold.
Re-smoke timing could be just so on perfect. They are blocked, and for the T's, you're probably getting a bit nervous because you don't know what map control has been taken elsewhere. You don't know if T-Con's been compromised. You don't know if there's been any aggression towards the brown holes. Mistar is jiggling for it, but he's playing back passive. They're going to try and end towards A, but they need to deal with Artfrost and Magnajez. That's the concern.
Oh, quick swing from Becky. Artfrost is going to get caught napping. That's one advantage. Return to a 4-on-4. Now the T-side start making their moves. Magno, tucked behind the boxes. Or just lined up by Dillades instead of distraction. Outside of Zed, one expecting a player to make that move. Mistar's picked up one, but Becky and Mistar will fall to Magno, who finally gets his chance to strike and earn his own flowers. It's now map and match point and semi-final point 2 for BetBoom.
And you can clearly see in this series, Jay, that when Boomich and BetBoom have really locked in, when they've really focused up, it's not been close, has it? It's been when there's been some trolling or some over-peaking or some schoolboy errors. That's when they've given Sashi chances. I mean, look at that one. Becky gets an opening kill in T-Con. You're running out A, and you're getting slaughtered, aren't you? Dillades on rotate gets 2. Magnajez deep on A also gets 2. They're just a far superior team.
This is why BetBoom are rated as one of the favourites here. Mainly plays in playoffs. Siren, kill off the first man. Mistar does at least find that trade, so it doesn't cause a major problem for Sashi, at least for the round itself. Another 6-round comeback required out of this T-side, and it's not happening. Boomich is having none of it. Matt Tenor Zyphon hoping for a lifeline. He can get one back over at Toxic. But now the AK of Boomich gets caught jumping, actually. Becky takes him down. Artfrost get pressured from both ends of the field. Turn away from the box. Shot connects to Zyphon. And the last man standing is Becky. A 1v2 clutch with Artfrost swinging to land a stellar AWP shot, securing 14 picks and a 13-6. BetBoom 2-0 their way to the semi-finals. The team of second chances will get a second chance at redemption here.
And for the first time in 2 years, the second LAN grand final. That's got to be a good feeling there for the BetBoom side. They were tested at moments, but come on, look at the group stage. Didn't even get tested. Went 5-0. 2-0 versus Metasport. 2-0 versus the likes of Sashi. They'll be happy with the result there. They'll be ready for the grand final.
Indeed they will be, and at this stage, given the competition that we've seen so far, it feels like this is the most impressive team, the most confident team, the one that's had the best sort of just gameplay in general. The tactics are on point, the players are on point. Dillades continuing to be an absolute monster in server and out. Like, this is just incredible showings from the BetBoom side. I don't want to hold it against Sashi too much because they were underdogs in this context. They would have hoped that they would have liked to have shown a bit more fight, but they did that on their map pick. When it came to BetBoom's map pick, I think we all sort of expected that that might not be the prettiest of affairs, and indeed it was not.
Yeah, definitely. So I think for Sashi, this is definitely a positive. You're going into a LAN with an AWPer as a stand-in, and when we cast Sashi online very frequently, we always put them in the conversation as like a system-based team, right? We never really get star players, never really get guys that will hard carry. Becky had a very good LAN as an anchor, a player that is always in uncomfortable positions on both T side and CT side. He's definitely caught my eye. The thing is for Sashi, they need to try and back this up, because while it is a top 4 on LAN, they get a lot of top 3, 4s in the past, but they've never really gone on to do anything else. So I think this latter part of the year and moving into 2026, I'd like to see if they can build upon anything and perhaps even get some consistency when Lucky joins the roster again.
Yeah, it is very true. I mean, look, for Sashi, it was always going to be a tough affair, I think, in coming into this event. We didn't have them pinned as like a key and opportunistic favourite. Maybe we might have had some players as like an outside dark horse if you wanted to go that far, but I certainly wouldn't have done that. The fact they made it this far in the general, it's the positive. And the LAN wins they've got and the points in VRS has already put them up to just inside the top 40 in Europe. So looking at some European invites very soon for them, I'm sure that we'll get to see a lot more of Sashi now that they've bolstered their position in World Counter-Strike. For BetBoom, though, for eyeballers, this whole tournament comes to a head with with those two squads. A key and obvious favourite versus a key dark horse in the grand finals of Journey.
And it's going to be a very fun grand final because you've got JW versus Boomich, and we're running back the years. We're running back in-game leaders that have had a lot of successes. I mean, you don't see very frequently in any Tier 2 event in any, let's just say, BYOC or open land that you've got major winners taking each other on in a grand final. That happens in Tier 1. That doesn't happen in Tier 2.
Indeed, it's a very sort of unique set of circumstances, some throwback years if you wanted to say so, very different rosters of course for those respective individuals, but I think a lot of potential involved in what we've seen. The journeys of these two sides have been very, very different. The goals of these two sides and the expectations of them have been also very, very different by comparison, so it's going to set itself up to be a very interesting grand final in my eyes today, and I'm really looking forward to how Eyeballers BetBoom is going to go down.
The Eyeballers have been a pretty stable team even outside of the LAN. When we were covering them yesterday, we were talking about the recent additions, bringing in some more stable rosters, bringing in players that we know have pedigree at the higher end of Tier 2. The lineup on paper makes sense. Now JW's got to go out there and push for a trophy and push against a very difficult team in the competition.
Indeed, again, he's not the favourite in this context. That would be the honour towards BetBoom, who have plenty of time to prepare because our grand final will begin in a little under 5 hours' time. I know it's a quite significant break, but there's a lot of action going on at Red Bull Giveaway. Journey is just one part of the journey, so to speak. So, look, we're going to head over to our very extended break and probably come back after we turn off the stream. But before we head off, I want to thank all our sponsors for making all this possible. Breadband 2, ES Play, TCL, El Giganten, and Republic of Gamers. So, be back here at 8 p.m. CET because that is when the action kicks off in the grand finals of Red Bull Giveaway Journey. We'll see you then.